came, that is verse 21, and Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Let me tell you, he knew that his God was God, and he knew that God was ready to show him up. And he called the people, he asked that the people be gathered. And he told them, look, he warned them first, if God be God, follow him. And if Baal be Baal, you follow him. If you take Baal for your God, that is your business. But he knew that God was about to show up on behalf of him. And then in verse 36 it says, and it came to pass that at the time of the offering, remember I told you how they were supposed to do that sacrifice, and how he allowed the enemy Ahab and his people to go first and call upon their God, the Baal, that the sacrifice would have been taken up and nothing happened. It was not consumed. But when Elijah prayed, what God did, verse 46 said, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and we can say thou art God in St. Lucia, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. You see, God told him, and he's doing it. He's been walking in obedience with God. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that these people may know that thou art the Lord God, and thou has thrown the heart back again. Okay, he didn't pray and say to show the people that I am so and so and I can do that, but show up God. God is about to show up for him, but he said, God, you show up. Okay, and verse 38 says, then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. Remember, he had put water after he set up his sacrifice to show people how much God is. He said, look, I'm not even bothering myself and dry up or anything. I'm adding water, because you know that fire will not light in water. And he didn't use any matchstick or anything. He only called upon God, and God sent the fire. And verse 49 says, and when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, the Lord, he is the God. The Lord, he is the God. So, beloved, I encourage you this morning to pray. Continue praying. But watch and pray. See what's happening around you. And pray that God show up in St. Lucia, that God show up on behalf of his people. Pray. But remember, Elijah had a relationship with God, he had faith in God, and he had no doubt that God would show up. So you have faith in God. Do what you must do. Do not quit. Do not say that I am not going to show up and do what God asked me to do. Whatever it is that the Lord has placed upon your heart, and you are certain it is the Lord who has placed it upon your heart, to minister unto somebody, to help somebody in an area, whatever it is the Lord has placed upon your heart, to stand up for somebody, to pray for St. Lucia and pray for the government. That is God's word. He asks us to do that. So we must be obedient. Do it in faith, not doubting. Okay? And let God show up on behalf of our families, of our nation, on behalf of our children, on behalf of St. Lucia. Let God show up in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And thank you very much, Sister Pam, for bringing us the beautiful morning devotion. And I hope you have a great weekend, you, Pastor Wally, and all of the other members down at Grace and Mercy Ministries. St. Lucia, don't forget this coming Monday. It will indeed be the last Monday of the month, where we always pray for St. Lucia all of our loved ones, and you too could get into the program, be part of it by calling into the program to read a verse of scripture, sing a song, say a prayer. You are indeed part of the program. So that is coming up this Monday, the last Monday of the month. We are happy to have you on board. Good morning to you, St. Lucia, as I give you the weather, my personal weather this morning as I look out the window. No blues. You remember I've been reporting some blues throughout the week. No blues this morning, a little overcast, not heavily. We have a little bit of white clouds, but absolutely no blues from my end. And it is very still. When I say still, there's no wind blowing from at the moment. So let's hope that could change a little bit later. You never know what's going on with the weather. The weather is really, really unpredictable. So we have no control over the weather. So this morning we're going to do the champagne in the morning a little differently. I am going to be bringing you some speeches from various parliamentarians or party members, and I'm going to start off with the first one. You could still call me. This is, we circulated this radio station around the phone. Without the phone, there's no Sky FM, because Sky FM belongs to the people, and we appreciate your calls every time you call. This is why I sit in this chair 3 hours, 4 hours to accommodate all of our listeners, all of our callers. So you could call at any time. And for those of you who would like to know what our numbers are, it's 485-0931. This is our WhatsApp number, and you could call us at any time, or 456-0931. And we are Sky FM 93.1 island-wide. There are no two frequencies. There's just the single frequency, 93.1. And if you would notice, our phone numbers always end with 931. 485-0931, 456-0931. And I have a call coming. I hope it's my lady, because I was supposed to call. Hello, good morning.
Oh, it's not your lady. I'll hang up for you to deal with her.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm all right.
Yes, sir.
Let me hang up.
No. You could go ahead. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Okay. Last night I was going through the channel, skipping channel.
Yeah.
And I heard a statement a young man called and said that he went to the ONE hospital for a blood test.
Mm-hmm.
And they could not do it there. He had to go to Tapio, and it cost him $600.
A blood test?
Yeah.
600?
600,
Wow.
I find it strange the host didn't say anything, so I need you to check on this thing.
600?
Yeah.
Boy, a single blood test. I know Tapio is up there in price, but that sounds really ridiculous. 600, my goodness.
Yeah,
$600 for a blood test?
But I think that we need to put a team together.
Yeah.
To monitor this at the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
So then we could look at the information that are given there and debunk it.
I'll tell you something, Brother Scotty. A lying tongue, and I don't say I don't lie. I try my best not to lie, but I'm not going to sit here and think that I'm an angel from heaven. I'm not going to say that I don't lie. But a lying tongue has its place. Everyone has to pay for their sins, my friend.
Yeah.
Someone called me early this morning and they said they were watching the program, the gentleman who always had the Alan Shastney show. And they were saying that they told me that the gentleman said that the Prime Minister, more than half of his cabinet members are so frustrated they're asking him to call the elections. And when I put that together, I'm not a member of cabinet, I don't sit in cabinet. But when the people come here, they are so proud of their leader. I have interviewed almost every cabinet member. And when they speak with me, you see the level of sincerity, the trust, the love that they have for the political leader or the prime minister. And for me to hear that someone is calling me this morning saying that this man is saying that the people are so frustrated that they are asking the prime minister to call and he not, all kinds of nonsense.
Let me tell you.
So, my goodness.
Let me tell you. These people are only educated to do evil.
Yeah, I believe that.
I've said it before. They have no talent.
Right.
What is right or what is good.
Yeah.
These fellas is like a calabash flow. They have nothing. They have nothing to say. They cannot address the citizenry of this country and make a case why the St. Lucian have to elect them. Go to the poll and vote for them. They have not done that, and they cannot do it.
Yeah. So Brother Scotty, what does the Bible say about a lying tongue? Because I think I remember, but I'm not too. What does the Bible say about the lying tongue?
I don't remember it right now, but
do you know? Because
I don't have it on my mind.
The funny thing about that is for people to believe that they own this world, and if the Bible has made reference to certain things that we should not do, and we continue to do it, I believe there's a judgment, there's a payment coming. And when you continue to lie about people and do nonsense about people, there's a day coming when you will be stopped. I just believe that.
Well, I hope when I put down the phone, Sister Palm or Pastor Wally will call us.
Yeah.
Tell us about the life.
All right.
Yeah, or Brother Hookin, if you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know it or anybody.
All right, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boy, this morning I have my program.
I heard you.
Will be a little different.
Yeah, let me say hello now.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Madua and all our listeners, I want to wish you the very best for today and the weekend. And prepare yourself. Be strong. Don't worry about the lies you are hearing. Just know that you have a government that have been working. They have proven themselves. Do what is right. Talk to your friends, your people, your family. Encourage them to come and vote for the UWP. We need to win by 17 not, so we could put the proper mechanism in place and straighten out the laws that we need, reinforce things, that the next 5 years we could go on a smooth sailing. I want to say hello to my cousin Gerald and those who are listening, in particular before South, before North, Supre, all around. Pleasant weekend for you all. God bless you all.
All right, Brother Scotty. All right, we'll talk later. All right, beautiful.
After the tone.
Hello, good morning. All right, so I'm trying to get maybe that is her calling. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Champagne.
Good morning to you, sir.
That caller that's talking about the fellas, they fed up with the Prime Minister, they want them to call elections. You remember the vote of no confidence, what they were saying? The cabinet members don't want him.
Exactly.
But I don't mind them fellas. Fellas, that is just Labour Party tricks.
Yes, yes.
They will know the tricks. I don't know when they run out, what will happen?
Yeah.
What will they do? What will be the next move?
Mm-hmm.
That is just to detract people or you know.
A weak strategy.
Weak strategy. You know,
yeah.
They have no plan. When you have a plan of hope, that's a hope.
Yeah.
Hope is anticipation, you know.
Anticipating something will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope? What's the meaning of hope?
Yeah. You know, it's just a friend of mine called me this morning and said that. I said, you have so much courage, but she watches everything. And she said that the man was talking about the prime. You know, this is really weaker. There's nothing else to grab on to talk about. So then you're going to talk about now the entire membership of the cabinet.
Look at the two leaders. Just look at the two of them. Leader of the opposition and leader of the government.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister is more charming. He has more appeal. You know, he's more attractive.
You know, the other day, about 2 or 3 months ago, I said I was going to put a photo of the two leaders up, and it was said to me that I should not do it by a lot of people because they thought that it would appear to be some form of race card. And I didn't see it that way, but I didn't do it. But I'll say something. There is nothing, and I don't want to be judgmental there, but I don't see any comparison. Philippe J.P.I. is a human being, just like myself. I give him respect. But in terms of leadership skills and to move St. Lucia forward, there's no comparison between him and Alan Chasley, the Prime Minister. None.
That next election will be deeply based on leadership.
That's right. And achievements. Beautiful. Well said. All right, my brother. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Boy, my calls have started really, really early, boy. I thought it was my girlfriend. I tried to call her. The line is dead. Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Champagne.
Good morning to you. How are you?
To the most humble and kind Mr.
Thank you. I love that title, though. I love it. Trust me. I love it. Thank you.
So I called you to tell you the other side saying you giving me some, eh? Yes, that's what they say. They say they're calling me, and I always on the phone with Mr. Champagne. Every day I on the phone with Mr. Champagne. So when they call me and they don't hear me, is Mr. Champagne that give me some, eh?
So I putting you to sleep.
Yes, that's what they say.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, Mr. Champagne.
Okay, great. I'm happy to hear it's a good thing because I wouldn't like to hear it's a bad thing.
You already putting me to sleep. You have to come and see that person that you put into sleep.
Tomorrow afternoon. And the minister, I think, is coming down there tomorrow as well. Okay? So, I think he'll see you.
So I heard. I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I heard that.
Yes, so I think...
And I was about to look for some... I was up to some cashew nuts for you, to roast some cashew nuts for you. But the person that roasting the cashew nuts will not be there.
I'll take it another time. I'll get it another time.
Take it another time.
Another time.
And you will get more. And you will get more.
Thank you. They say
Mr. Champagne?
Yes, they do.
I'm waiting for you tomorrow.
Yes, darling. I will come to see you.
Yes, because I am so excited. I only see you on the TV and heard you on the radio, but I know tomorrow I finally will see the most humble and kind
That's right.
one of them.
Amen. Okay. Thank you, sweetie.
My Prime Minister is the first and Mr. Champagne is the second. And they have many good orders behind you.
Exactly. All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Champagne, have a wonderful day.
And you as well. I will see you tomorrow, God willing.
Bye-bye, Mr. Champagne.
Bye-bye, darling.
Okay, Mr. Champagne.
All right, beautiful. What a sweet lady, kind lady, always. She said her friends are saying that I put her to sleep. Thank you very much, darling. I promise to come see you tomorrow. Hello, good morning. My brother, how are you?
Very much alive and well.
I'm good.
Brother, I listen to the cashew nuts issue.
Yes. Don't get jealous, though. There's none for you.
No, I will share it. Let me tell you.
Yes.
You ask somebody to call and say, what does the Bible say about a lying tongue?
A lying tongue, yes.
Okay. The Bible says that in the Proverbs, 6 things that God hates, and the 7th one is an abomination unto God.
Yes.
And it is a lying tongue.
Wow.
Okay? And the Bible also says that all liars will find their place in the lake of fire. So therefore, the Bible condemns a lying tongue very much, my brother.
Yes.
This is why, you see, when I am on the show, I try my best to make sure that I don't deceive people.
That's right.
I do not tell lies. If I am not sure about something and I said it, I am saying that I am subject to correction.
Yes.
Because I am not sure of what I said.
Oh, what you're saying, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So therefore, although you did not know, but I am telling you, you are correct.
Yes.
When you say you don't know what the Bible says about a lying tongue, but it is not a good thing. Okay?
Yeah. Now you know, my brother, I believe in my heart that 90% of every human being lies. 90.
Yeah. The moment you don't know something and you speak it,
yes,
it is considered to be a lie. But you see the lie that the Bible talks about?
Yes.
When you sit down and you fabricate something,
yes, sir,
that you know,
that is worse.
Yeah. When you stay and you fabricate something and you know it is not that true,
yes,
but yet still you are doing it from malicious
that's right.
That's right. To deceive people,
right,
and to con people.
Yeah.
That the Bible condemns very much, my brother.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you could call and clarify that for all of us that didn't know too much about it. I know, but not all of it.
Yeah. I put it on the table. Maybe I might give you a little pop-up, brother.
Okay, beautiful. I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, my brother.
All right, beautiful. All right, great. And good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning, Champagne.
And good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yesterday, when you was talking about Marsha, I did call you yesterday.
Yes.
Right? But let me tell you something. Let me give that lady one little advice. Advice qui est far.
Oui.
Il dit qu'on s'appelle partie de Jazz Festival et puis Carnival Marchand.
Oui.
Et qui ça n'est pour faire avec l'État marchand? Ça n'a pas rien pour faire avec l'État marchand. Ok? Bon, si il y a quelqu'un qui n'est pas mis ça, qui est Jazz Festival et puis et puis carnival marchand. Est-ce que ça ça c'est tout marchand et marchand télé pour ça c'est limité la sous map de TS Island now ça me dit madame là mais pas regarder marchand regarder qu'est-ce que c'est compliqué à la solution when marchand do you like that it affect me because okay now si il pas mis l'argent pour que qui faut nous il passe pour qu'il faut nous faire c'est pour que le monde
bon c'est mon gars qui about you ka di yo tie jazz marchand c'est pas jazz yo tie marchand ça opening of jazz festival là the opening of jazz festival bon moi je voulais dire about ça encore bis moi c'est Jean Marchand est-ce que carnival nous lever ka ouais carnival là sur film marchand vrai mais carnival vini tellement go partner là où ni c'est bonnes là te ka monter marchand il te ka cause un problème ou ça. The other thing, l'autre raison pour y en a ces raisons yo tie carnival là sur fil marchand. Qui manière ça pousser en ban et ben driver truck en l'enfil l'applique tomber. Qui manière ça fait? So yo teni pour tirer et mettre dans ville Castries côté là l'applique tomber, il passe à affecter ces ban, il passe à affecter ces truck là. Ça c'est l'autre raison. Jazz festival because mon ni pour smart. Jazz festival là c'est pas whole jazz festival là qui te marchand. Opening of jazz qui te marchand. Et il te gagné un chai il te belle vrai mable doubt il te belle. Mais si yo fait l'autre venue et que yo était nécessaire pour yo tirer, moun ka di about Malawi, yo pas quitter Malawi vendre ba, yo c'est pas ça pas raison frère.
Garçon, qui ça qui Malawi? Qui ça qui
Madele Babatia.
Qui destination of Malawi?
Madele Babatia. Yo qui mène wood ça, le Babatia Malawi. Yo qui invent wood ça. Yo yon gini wood ça whole la terre.
You know. Moi yo ka parler about Malawi. Là ni moun ki ka mouke. Là, les gens qui ne peuvent pas monter.
Yo même qui a fait ça.
Yeah, because, okay, si moi regarde, okay, mettez-moi celui de Babatia. Je vais parler de Malawi. Je vais dire, oh, je vais faire ça, je vais faire Malawi l'argent. Ou style voulez ouais Malawi, pas voulez ouais devant. Ou je pas
ça vrai. Et tant ça yo dit. Nous c'est gouvernement Malawi, meaning ou ka govern Malawi tout seul. Ou pas ka govern ou pas vouloir yo ay pèse l'autre côté.
Yes côté, ou doit vouloir rester en darkness.
Del power. C'est ça yo dit.
OK, et c'est fini pour ouvrir koyo. C'est fini pour ouvrir yo et garder. OK, ou c'est gouvernement Malawi, qui sont gouvernement Malawi? Ou voulez rester Malawi?
Et yo pas comment nous minin ça, yo ni pour ban nous minin ça. Moi c'est gouvernement Malawi, ban nous minin ça. Nous voulons savoir qui ça minin ça y.
Oui, bon minin Malawi.
Oui. Gouvernement Malawi. Oui. Et c'est mon bois ça, c'est moi là pour attendre moi. Ou ça pour combien d'années c'est mon pas qu'à développer la vie yo ka rete même petit là yo pas qu'à acheter travail pour faire because gouvernement yo c'est gouvernement Malawi il ka change yo Malawi et yo même ka believe that yo c'est Malawi.
OK, Champagne gassin bon mouton bail right m'ka rester New York m'ka rester Brooklyn.
Oui.
Gouvernement ka bay moun welfare mauvais toute cette liste ça m'ka dit. Gouvernement ka bay c'est mon welfare, kabayo housing, kabayo food, tout bagaille.
Oui.
La vie c'est mon mais il faut.
La vie à qui ça?
La vie pas. Gouvernement kabayo welfare, kabayo radio, kabayo l'argent pour manger. Kabayo la vie c'est mon ça pas jamais tout.
Ça vrai.
La vie pas jamais tout.
Ça vrai.
Vous comprenez?
Because you kabayo just assez pour yo ça vivre mais pour yo expand sous quoi yo pour propel quoi il pas fait.
Non, il pas fait comme Champagne, il pas fait. La vie pas improve.
Non.
OK, tout le monde a quitté Caribbean, il va quitter Afrique, il va quitter l'île pour vivre quoi parce que vous n'êtes pas souvent pas improve.
Et c'est même ça qu'a fait ici. Même ba la le Babatia a fait ces moun yo ou pas ces moun Shantytown ou pas ces moun Kwelans ou pas ces moun Fouacho yo ka ba yo même just enough pour yo ça manger. À part de ça, yo pas ça dans motocar, yo pas ça travel, yo pas ça dans primaire caille, yo pas ça ni rien.
Aïe.
C'est comme ça les papa dit appelez nous ici.
Oui, c'est comme ça c'est mon et puis petit boy petit net pour élection pour préparation et puis parce que
voilà là dit moi en dernière élection ou quand dit moi Philippe J Pierre tenu en van et c'est pas bail monde dit moi ouais van anti flat van qu'a passé en Bacatel area moi qu'a bail ça en sheet plywood qu'a bail ça des sheet plywood qu'a bail ça short plywood qui ça en sheet plywood ça fait bail yon monde qui ça il ça fait bail monde hein
OK. Bagay plywood là ou pas la boîte là, right? Lequel il travaille laptop là, il te bon mon contrat pour faire laptop. Il te plywood là, monter matière, monter faire plywood, monter faire laptop et puis plywood. Plywood. Et puis laisse plywood là, comme monter west time ouvrir vieux ba yo because laptop là, mon fait plywood là, pas de trois bébé si maman il est pour là. Il reste laptop là la condition en gros break.
Oui.
OK? Oui, bon ça c'est plywood là yo te ban moi pour faire laptop là m'ouvrir vieux ba yo.
Oui.
Moi ça c'est bon ça me dit.
Moi comprends.
Je sais ici top couillon.
Well, c'est pas tout hein. C'est pas tout Jean cette ici hein. Et nous pas couillon encore là. Écoutez ça. Ma quoi Jean cette ici couillon. Jean cette ici Jessica là au monde pour jouer avec cervelle yo, c'est pas couillon yo couillon tellement. Ma quoi nous couillon.
Champagne. Moi quitter New York à présent. M'ka venu cette lycée ouest. A dit rien l'année, moi 100 millions.
Ou dit ça?
Oui.
C'est pour moi formule là ça hein?
OK, bon bail. Est-ce que Valley là?
Oui.
La mien chaité là. Now. Vous regardez market là qui a venu plus bagaille là, qui a venu plus vite en cette lycée. OK. Ou ka porter moulon, ou ka porter concombre, ou pas porter concombre, ou ka porter concombre, ou ka porter moulon, ou ka porter moulon. OK, bon, si market là ni ça yo à $4 au fond, ou ka vendre ça à $2 au fond.
Mais c'est pour jeune côté pour vendre.
Oui, non, ou ka vendre ni. Ou de pour smart pour vendre, ou ka vendre ni. OK? Ou ka vendre ni. You know, bon, ou pas ça George dit, ou pas ça vendre ni, bon, ou pas externe market pour cette ici tout seul. OK, ou aller pour servir ça côté pour manier que market vegetable avant. OK, même si on est en fait pas et pour pas mettre 50 boîtes là la mer de fois et servir ça pour servir ça. C'est comme ça business ça commencer. Business ça commencer ou pas commencer gros non, cette liste n'est pour deux bouts avec politiciens. Ou bon mon short boy pourquoi non
oui ça n'est pas de bout ça n'est pas
de bout oui you know bon on bail si on ouvre la sur Street of New York on va essayer mexicain la Raven Play you can mago sala tout bail comme ça c'est les fini pride je pas mettre ça je pas mettre ça
oui. Bon, n'a pas un l'autre minute, moi ni tellement light qu'à lui-même là devant moi là.
Oui man, champagne, vous avez parlé de
dis ces femmes ou là bonjour,
Oui man, oui, toute famille qui s'est ici, Ozo, Pied Fort, Moncaïne, Souezel, tout pouillet, bonjour. Dame oui, bonjour.
OK, pardon. Eh bien, ni a belle journée.
Oui, man, oui, thank you.
All right, partner. All right, beautiful. That was my buddy from New York City calling in. Hello, good morning.
Chamben, good morning.
My brother, comment you passe le soir?
C'est merci.
Oui.
Chamben.
Oui.
En opinion, moi, je dis, non, tu me dis que je m'en bourgeois avant.
Oui.
Vous pouvez dans l'histoire, je m'en bourgeois, mais je m'en bourgeois avant. Vous pouvez, M. Nigel, M. Nick, Mazel, José Newsly.
Oui.
Un monsieur qui pas tellement passe à tête là, en tête, à ça, il ne pas passe.
Oui.
C'est slow. Comme on veut dire, belle botte. Oui, ça, c'est qui m'a parlé. C'est belle voyage. Bon. Et tout l'autre, je m'en parle, mais non, bonjour pour tous. Mais, Champagne.
Oui.
La ville pour vous-même après ça.
Oui.
Vous pouvez dans l'histoire, c'est tout, oui. Là-bas, c'est mon you let the cat off the bag. Nous pas dire ça où t'es run-up, t'es tellement bold and brave. Écoutez ça. Quand on oublie l'histoire, c'est pas où yon. Pierre Francis, Robin Gill Francis, vous-même, et qu'est-ce qu'on a dans le roi, not really brave and bold, genuine to ready. Après, c'est hot, c'est pour monter pour l'élection. Elle va go, so to speak, turn back, turn down. Elle va still, kasi pour des semunta, 100%. That's what we're going to do. Nani mundi ça because you're pas piqué ou pas piqué.
En Simon.
En Simon.
En Simon.
La montagne où dit, yo piqué ou you make fortune. Mais you weapon, ou kasi pour des outside bel bago.
Oui.
Pour bien se protéger, oui.
Oui.
Même there à l'extérieur, même à the left position door.
Ah, Peterson Francis, ça là, même moins pour ça comprendre. Non, non, écoutez ça. Peterson Francis, il a déjà endossé ou ça. Il a déjà endossé ou ça. Et puis, non, ça, il step donc pour faire les baisseurs. Et qu'il still qu'à supporter parti à wet. C'est genuine monde.
Tout le monde a because c'est pas une chose.
Parti à c'est un team.
Bon, là, garçon, nous sommes pour bien de lookout. Là, nous avons une femme qui a compétit à ce nom-là, qui a really other aim pour jeter nos marches côté. I mean, take over the country. Yes, sir. Regarde, repair après, si vous prenez là, à la soldier station.
Oui.
Il a vu que moi, parce que moi, je n'ai pas. Là, moi, vie à ce DVD. Et moi, en madame Vieux-Port, en typiquement. Garçon,
il est mauvais.
C'est pas comme ça, là, même marché, comme ça, même, c'est pas un qui est, c'est pas qui fait. Comme ça, rien n'est pas un bois.
Non, il s'est parlé.
Mais en vérité, je veux nous dire, mon bali, là, pour mon désordre. Nous vous dites, moi, comme ça, mon image, qu'est-ce que j'ai encore? Sur mon programme, tout le monde a dit, c'est comme ça, là, dit, c'est réanimé.
Oui.
Si moi, j'attends comme ça, c'est pas inquiet, c'est comme ça, pas mon pièce.
Il s'est parlé, Madou, hein? Ça parlé. Est-ce qu'il est une belle femme, tout, hein?
Oui. Là, comme tu sais, mon là, moi, tout ça, il dit qu'il a toujours. Mais là, nous avons un petit personnel problème de pays.
Oui.
C'est moi-même, mais il y a un problème de mon pays.
Ah.
Mais là, moi, c'est comme ça. Ça, c'est pas le cas de dire. Because it appeals to me, what comes from your heart, get into your mouth.
Yes, sir.
The abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
The mouth speaks, yes.
Now, la mo donne pas au madame ça parler. Et quand elle a mis comme d'autres toujours, à pas été mon là. Such as, je sais un temps à nous là, comme ça. Notre réunion là, we keep it in here. Even give you just say by Bradley.
Oui.
Munza, si nous pas encore bien. MZ Munza là, you va really flip la primaire parce que c'est nom le là.
Eh ben, bon moi d'où ça, ou pas ça pli, ou bon moi d'où ça. Ou pas ça pli right passer ça because tant ça nom qu'a fait. Nom nous qu'a tué on a l'autre, nous pas à l'école, nous pas à travail. So c'est femme nan combien femme yo déjà tué l'année ça pas physique pièce. Combien femmes qui bagay yo tout ka l'école, yo tout ka garder pour un travail pour faire. Yo ka éduquer quoi yo. So Adam moi j'ai dit ça ici hein. Moi j'ai dit ça. Adam l'autre écoutez ça. Adam l'autre 20, 30, 40, 50 years. C'est ici pas une pièce non encore. Moi j'ai dit ça. Moi j'ai dit ça.
Qui gagne mal pour ce quoi. À toi qui veut nom qui a fait pour la non.
Ah. Ah ouais, mais écoutez ça. Mais Kaouch, écoutez ça. Nigel, c'est mauvais, c'est mauvais, c'est mauvais même.
Bon, c'est mon tour, il n'y a pas mis mon nerf qui peut être différent, mais c'est un personal problème. Ouais, madame, qui a monté, il se casse là.
Oui, Fortuna.
Fortuna. En opinion, moi, il m'a étoffé.
Il m'a étoffé?
Yes, we're not going for a correct choice.
Oui.
But in the next world, he believe in the reincarnation.
Ah.
The people politicians, he might stop it.
Alors, qui raison dit ça?
Ah, boy. Mathieu Mungawe, Zéoché Mungawe, il m'a stop it for nous.
Oui.
Madame Doulasan.
Ok.
Oh, Fortuna. Oh, yes, oh, yes.
Tant ça, ou te gagne marié?
Famille, mon Marie Penny Gon. Maria Penny Gon, that's the Balabosa, but in next life. They don't believe in real connection.
What about TV Valmont? They got married too? Okay.
She's an open mind person going
Oui.
and she's beautiful also.
Oui.
Mais ma parle pas la bosse avec moi ça c'est non la gagne go ba ça. Donc moi nous avons autre mais vous savez ça le point madame ça là.
Oui.
Il a top garçon.
Okay.
Top
Okay, Badna.
Anyway,
Ba you are presque fini. Moi peut-être semaine prochaine I mène ba.
Thank you very much, champion. Ma bleu beto champion, mutana mon plaisir.
Okay, Badna.
Thank you very much.
All right, near Belgium. All right. Beautiful. Okay. My brother Kawu is down there in Labria. Great gentleman. I have a lot of experience in politics. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
It's been years I'm trying to call you.
Wow. I'm happy that you got the line this morning.
But it's my first time calling. And I'm enjoying the show.
I'm going to give you the bell for such a long time because you have been trying for such a long time. Thank you.
And I'm from Cantonment.
Cantonment. Oh, beautiful. I have another lady that calls me every morning from Cantonment.
Yes, I've been listening.
Yes.
Yeah,
You have a little feedback. Is your device on? You have the radio maybe turn up a little too heavy. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Cantonment. I have a big problem with Cantonment.
Yeah.
Well, I've been living in Cantonment, let me see, since 4 years old to 5 years old.
Wow.
Now I'm 39 years old.
Oh, boy, that's a long time.
I have my vehicle. When I enter the road, it's like Jupasi to Pala, get away onto
yes. I remember that song.
The road is so bad. And I'm telling you, the lady, every time she calls, she always complaining. My dear, it is so true. Cantonment has nothing for the youth.
Wow.
No playing, nothing.
That is sad.
Remember when they had the factories, kosher mill, Vortex, they had a nice road they built there.
Yes.
That used to be beautiful shopping.
Yes.
Every night you'd see, I used to call it the love lane. Lovers all on the field going for moonlight walk, learning how to drive, people walking. My dear, as my mother said, because there's no road to walk.
That is really sad, caller.
Very sad.
That is really sad. So, in other words, you could say Cantonment has been rejected and neglected.
My dear, reject cannot even explain.
My goodness.
Abandonné.
Oui. Ça mauvais.
And my family, my mom has 14 of us, and I tell you, Champagne, pas des votes killer.
And ça c'est un shy vote.
Yes. And I used to love to see when I come from school, I used to go on the field, the Cantonment field.
Yeah.
Like around 4 o'clock, the factories, everybody, when work is over, I see the amount of people that used to work in those factories.
Yeah.
And now those factories are just there. Different companies bought them. They have some stuff, the fire service stuff, and other people have them.
Bryce and Company has one in the back there too, I believe.
Right. Yes. I think the fire service has one.
Yes.
There's a rice factory.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's nothing there. La pani, nada.
So what happens in the nighttime? What happens in the nighttime? Everybody just go to bed really early?
Yeah, we sit in the yard, we cool out. Back then, you'd go on the field and take a walk. You'll go driving, like, you know, Lapani, I had to go driving or walk now.
That is not good. That is like someone in prison, you know. A beautiful community like Cantonment. I know the area very well. That is not supposed to happen.
I was there since 4 years old, and I could tell people about Cantonment. When I used to live there, Champagne, when I moved, my dad and my mom moved there. You know all the field there. You know a tree they call Kapesh.
Yes.
Kapesh alone. They didn't have none of those factories. We used to walk in that like a jungle.
Yes.
And then they didn't have electricity. They didn't have water, and we used to live there. So 4 years old to 5 years old, I'm living there.
Yes.
And I tell you, there's different.
It's really heartbreaking. The light the lady speaks of, the area where she's really desperately crying and pleading for a bulb. You know the area?
I'm not too sure because even by my mom area, there's a few neighbors higher up. They need a street lamp on the pole.
Yes.
Right there, it's rural.
So the pole is there. The pole.
Recently, they placed two of them. There's two of the neighbors who get their they got their street lamp already on the pole. So they've been working around it now. But I'm not too sure the lady which area she's talking about because there's a different places in Cantonment. They relocated a lot of U-Fortions.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure which area.
Okay. Because Cantonment is a wide area. It's a wide community.
Yes, it is.
It's very nice. Yeah. I just wish they would reserve, and I passed around that area a few weeks ago and I saw they cutting into the field. I just wish they would reserve that field for the people of Cantonment because it's a really big, huge field. And I saw something happening there. The last time I went by that area, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw some work going on, at least in very close proximity of the field. I don't know what it was.
Oh, I think I'm not so sure. I think they're talking Bell Shanty, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I don't think there's nothing going on.
Maybe it's an expansion because I know the brewery. I know the brewery is doing an expansion on the brewery, the factory.
Yes. There's a big thing building. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, so you know, Mr. Herman Gill, the candidate, is coming down that way tomorrow. I hope you could meet him and talk to him.
I wish I could, but I'm at work right now. I'm at work in Newport. Okay. But I'm hearing you coming out of Cantonment. I wish to get to know you.
I will. I will be passing there at about maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock tomorrow.
5 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be at work.
Okay. Well, I work at the airport, so I'm always going to be in the area because I have a lady friend there. I have a new girlfriend, you know. She said she's going to give me some roast nuts the next time I come, so I have a new girlfriend.
She sounds so familiar, but maybe I know her by face or something, but I'm not too sure.
Yes. Well, let me say this. The rescue is coming, and you said you have 14 votes. That is a lot of votes. And I just hope Mr. Herman Gill Francis could meet you or another member of your family and he could convince you all to vote for him and then he could really do something different for Cantonment. And I know he will. All right, darling.
I was just told that he was the one who put the 3 street lamps in Cantonment.
Oh,
recently.
Great. We have to ring the bell for that. Yes, beautiful. So I think he's going to do great stuff. He's a very humble gentleman. He's a very nice guy. So if you should really get to meet him when he's down there.
We just have to give him the chance.
That's right. Because what was there, what is there now, what has been there for 25 years is not working. You know? So you have to get rid of what is there.
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. Enjoy your day at work and we'll talk again.
Okay.
All right,
enjoy your day too.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Beautiful people of Cantonment. And listen, for those of you who don't know where Cantonment is in the Viewport area, the brewery on the highway as you pass the brewery. In that whole area there's an entrance to the left. It's a beautiful community, a lot of beautiful people in there, and they have been rejected for a long time. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Champagne.
And to you as well. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm there not too bad, but I vex with you.
Why?
Let me tell you, the lady in the gap, the t-shirt, I'm asking to collect the t-shirt you dropped there, even though you
listen to me. Yesterday I passed them my person là, mais moi passer top on them when they moi passer top on them. Mais moi still pas on t-shirt là doudou. Moi still pas ni moi aller là hier encore c'est moi dit moi you poke up printly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to give her one of my own. I will have to give you one of my own. And the 2 I already brought, they could keep it, but I'm going to give you the one that you have to get, okay? I hope to get those shirts today. I'm going to sit there and make sure they print them. Because top moun haka kouye mwen bluffer. Se moun haka kouye mwen bluffer, se ba même mwen ka print t-shirt là.
Well, I don't call you bluffer. I know you busy.
No, it's not being busy. No, it's not being busy. It's just that the people where the shirts are, they said that they have a lot of stuff doing, and mine is secondary. So, but listen, today I'm going to sit there until I don't get the shirts makakitela. Because a top mun have pressure, push shimisa. Top pressure.
Okay, I just wanted you to collect the two you dropped.
No, it's okay. I will leave it for them. But tomorrow, listen to me. I said to you, I'm making you a promise. I'm going to sit there after I get out from the studio and wait for those shots because I'm coming down tomorrow. My guys drop Saubao. I can guarantee you, sir. Okay?
Okay.
All right,
I hear you. But make sure it's
yes,
you're not small. And I send you a voice note. Check it on the WhatsApp.
I will do that. All right, you do. Have a good weekend.
Okay.
All right. But I tell you, those T-shirts have made me so unpopular because people are not pleased that I have not been able to bring those T-shirts. And it's no fault of mine. I just wish I could get all of this T-shirts fiasco behind me. And I'm going to go down there this afternoon to make sure that I get the rest of the remaining of the shirt. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Champagne.
Good morning to you.
Morning, Champagne.
Good morning. How are you? How is New York?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank God.
I've been trying to call you. I'm happy I get the line right now. Let me tell you. The Bible also said, lying lips is an abomination unto the Lord.
Yes.
But they that deal truly are his delight.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. I hope they're listening.
But they that deal truly are his delight.
You want to turn down your radio just a little bit because you're listening to it and you're trying to... Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Okay. Yes. I heard what you said, and that is an actual fact. Because there are too many people just spewing lies all over the place, and they think they're doing anything good. They're hurting themselves.
Right. Okay. That's my contribution.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, beautiful. All right, Senator, so we're going to take just a 2-minute break just for an announcement. And it says here, Flubborama Night in New York. That's right, Senator. Flubborama Night hosted by Mr. Therrell Prudent. The New York chapter of Proud Flubbo on Board cordially invites all supporters to the United Workers Party, UWP, in the tri-state area to a meeting and social gathering. And they said there's lots of music, discussions, fun, from some of the Caribbean countries, all over our beautiful people from the tri-state area. They said dressed in party colors. Come show your support. That is happening tonight at 6:30 onwards tonight, and it's happening at Tropics Bar and Grill. That is over there in New York City, and the area is 422 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. The zip is 11213, and it says between Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard. I'm going to run through that again. It says the Flubborama is on tonight. Flubborama in New York, hosted by Therrell Prudent. The New York chapter of Proud Flubbo Aboard cordially invites you and all supporters of the United Workers Party, UWP, in the tri-state area to a meeting and social gathering. And they said music, discussions, fun, phone calls from all of the candidates. All of the candidates, they're saying. So you want to call in this evening, and we're going to be here on the program with Dr. Secret. So we're going to try to get in touch with Mr. Prudent to see how things are shaping up. Maybe at about 7:30, we have first hour into what's going on up there. And it's happening this evening from 6:30 onwards, and it's happening at the Tropics Bar and Grill. That is on 422 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, zip code 11213. And it says between Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard. All of the beautiful people that met better Ring the Bell. I saw Ring the Bell there with a group of ladies, boy, having a lot of fun. And I know he's having fun, a lot of fun up there in New York City. So all of those up there in the tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, go over there this evening at 6:30 and support the Flubbo. The Flubbo train is up there in New York City this evening. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Before you go and collect your T-shirts,
yes,
please come and collect your message.
Oh yes, I saw you call me this morning, but I couldn't call you back. So I'm going to come to get my mangoes. I don't want them to overripe and spoil.
Well, okay.
So I'm going to call you. So you give me that. No. You're the one that giving me, darling. You're not troubling. No one is troubling me. You're the one giving me the mango. So I will call you this afternoon to get the directions. Okay.
Okay.
Now I love mangoes so much. So I'm not going to be sharing with Dr. Secret because they're already telling me I have to put some on the side for them. This one's saying I love mangoes, so that is something I'm not going to share. Okay?
It's all left to you. It's yours. You do what you want.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to share with them. I will share with them.
After you.
Okay, darling. Have a good day. Okay. Beautiful. All right, thank you. Thank you, my brother. St. Lucia, I'm on the phone line there with the owner, one of the owners of our printing of Trophy Center. I must say the name because it's a little advertisement. And this is where I had my the T-shirts been printed. The gentleman is just telling me that the shirts are ready. I want to ring the bell on that. The shirts are ready. Now, I need to say this. They're not, it's about 40 or plus shirts that's left. The shirts are ready. So for those persons who have been giving me all of the little pressure for the shirts, the gentleman just called me and said that the shirts are ready. So I'm going to go by that way this afternoon to collect the shirts, and I will be delivering your shirts for you. Let me ring the bell on that again. So thank you to the beautiful people down at Trophy Center, great people. And if you have any form of printing you want to do, any forms of uniforms, hats, caps, whatever prints that you would like to do, give them a visit at Trophy Center right there in Sans Souci. Beautiful people. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Champion.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
That's Cow.
Hey, my brother, how are you, man?
How are you doing?
Boy, you promised to come up here with Dr. Secret. We have not seen you. Oh, where's that?
You also met le program la marika balek you.
Okay. Kima je ba ye?
Na move, power go. Voila, boy, ça fait
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm here to unfold certain things about my government.
Yes.
Okay? Despite these persons who are trying to create obstacles and lies and, deceit lies.
Yeah.
To deter people from seeing the truth. But I'll tell you something. I want you to ring the bell for Spider.
Yes, sir.
You know why? Yeah, man.
I want only good stuff, so I'm ringing it in advance.
Not only. You know why?
Yes.
Spider son zagouyen qui ni un chai kafofil un chai. After Spider could have done his work on the ground.
Yes.
And you come to what his name, Mr. Ferrell Prudent. I'm proud of him.
My goodness.
I'm being honest with you.
Yes.
I'm proud of him for doing his math again. And when he come to realize in the final analysis, here he realized it's a no on the other side. He realized, boy, Spider is the man. I appreciate him for evaluating a man for what he is.
And I want to elaborate on that. People like Mr. Terrell Prudent, these are civilized people. Civilized in the fact that these people have lived abroad. They know what life is about. He could see the difference between development and no development. So the man is from the Grosley area. He has seen the effort that Mr. Spider Montour is put in, the great effort. So he feels that he could assist him. He could help.
But
you understand? And this is what we should do.
Brother, you must understand. And anybody must understand. Spider's constituency is a wide constituency.
Really wide. Most populated.
And you have the other thing about it is you have a lot of persons, who's, you would say, upskilled people, all different class of persons.
Yeah, diverse.
In his constituency, diverse.
Yeah.
And he has to deal with all of that. Now, for you to see Spider's full production, my dear, you have to drive all over his constituency.
Yeah.
You cannot just stay in Grosley and see everything.
No, never. It's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of driving.
My brother Tom T, I don't know if you know Tom T and myself, we went we took a drive with Tom T's truck. And it took us about 3 hours, my friend.
No,
a lot of driving to explore that entire constituency.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying again, I leave Spider alone. I jump up here now. Last night, it's a pity we could not have all our 4 stars on the panel because Sister Gail has her, her passed away uncle. And
yes.
I sympathize with her.
Our condolences goes out to her.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, these ladies are dynamic people. you could see they are real prepared.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
And I'll be honest with you, what people thinking of politicians sometimes, it's not everybody who's just versatile.
Like Guy said, they are good politicians.
Very good politicians.
Yeah, for everybody to think, and sorry to cut in, people are of the view that all politicians are the same, and that is not true.
No. Let me tell you something.
That is not true.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Sarah has always been my girl. And from time Sarah stepping into politics, I have never seen gone swell-headed to say like she exalting herself.
Yeah, the demeanor has not changed.
Never changed. Calm, composed.
Yep.
Calm, composed, and always on target.
The demeanor has never changed. The behavior, nothing.
Yeah. We have a beautiful rose, Bell was. You know, beautiful rose.
Yes.
You know? Man, let me tell you something. I wish I could have get Bell was on a panel next to Pete. And but we'll not get this exchange.
Well, I'll tell you something. She's gonna eat him. She's gonna eat him alive in regards to the past in terms of sports, because I don't think Pierre has too much to talk about sports. That's one. Okay, accomplishments in general, accomplishments in terms of doing things for your country, assisting your country. She will still eat him up there. Pierre has not done anything for this country, my friend.
Marchand, I knew Marchand used to have guest houses. I knew Marchand used to have activities.
Restaurants.
Pierre is the luckiest guy in the government to have 2 playing fields.
Did nothing with them.
Nothing happening. And Pierre, we used to have shows and things happening in Marchand, and that has just gone down the drain.
Can you imagine a guy came into power and went into a new millennium as a government minister, couldn't see the need to get something going on in this constituency, couldn't do it?
Man, it's a shame,
It's a shame.
It's a shame. And what I am, and these sellers still pressing like, they own people's vote, they own to be in government, for people to look upon them like, I am the man, and nothing on the ground for the people to
absolutely nothing. Carl, let me ask you something. You've been in politics for decades. You've been on political platforms. You've been all around. What would you think it would take for someone on the United Workers' Party? It sounds like a nightmare, even me saying that. How do you feel someone could leave the United Workers' Party at this time and go and support the Labour Party? What do you think is someone that has to be of unsound mind to do something like that?
Well, I'll tell you something. I always tell people, to make yourself a better person, you have to be in the United Workers' Party.
All the time.
I'll be honest and straight with you.
I could believe that.
I don't care who I talk to or who I say to. Because you see, the Labour Party is running like a club. If you're not one of us, you have no say inside it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the United Workers' Party don't move that way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was talking to a young doctor, and she said to me, she raised labor and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, right? And what she come to realize is one thing she can vow to, is she come to realize when the United Workers' Party government is in power, you get a lot of young persons getting contracts and things going on. And with the Labour Party, is one set of people eating it.
It is true. It is true. There's a perfect example, Carl, and you know it.
Yeah.
Look at in the construction division, in the construction department, Reno Kojada, and I know the gentleman very well, a great gentleman. During the SLP reign, if it was not a foreign company, it was only Reno Kojada. What has happened in this administration?
Listen, when I look at when they were doing the Burns Library Road, under the Labour Party, it was Reno who had this contract. I have no hard feelings, but understand what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Reno come up with all his stones, all his blocks, everything, his workers. Pa yon jalabo wiki hena jouna da. Pa will rock even day at sabo.
Will rock pa vanaye?
Mi na pale ba wiga.
Wow.
Ika mutek truck liek tout bagay.
Yeah.
You understand?
I understand.
But yet still you have these people. I remember Calypso a long time ago that said, Yeah. But it sounds like the eyes in the backside.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it is hurting to see things like that happening.
But here's the point. The point I'm making is, look at what has happened with this government. While they want to link Fresh Start with the Honorable Guy Joseph and said all kinds of nonsense, Fresh Start is at work, Nationwide is at work, Renault is at work, C.O. Williams is at work.
Now, you see the problem is? The problem is they have to find something to say.
Yeah.
But that guy, my guy, the best guy,
I have to
the
play.
Real guy.
You know what I'm going to play in a little while after you? Because I'm going to play since when that's your rule statement in the house.
Oh,
I want to refresh. Yes, I'm going to play that now after your call.
Okay. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I went down to Soufrière and Harold. I don't know where Emma is fitting anywhere in this 2021 era.
No.
I don't know. I don't know where. I can't get it.
Yeah, dream.
I just can't get it. I can't get where Virginia is in this era, 2021 next to Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I don't understand that race. You understand?
The other one in Chazelle against Bradley.
That's a no-no. Forget about it.
My goodness.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
You know, Champagne? And it is sad to see when some people are here trying to deter people from the United Workers' Party government. But I'll tell you what I admire of this Prime Minister. What I admire of him is he's a worker. He's a business person. He's not about politics.
Yep.
You know? His head is focused.
Yep.
So no need to worry.
No, we're not.
No need to worry.
We're not at all.
Okay?
So what before I let you go, how you see it in your area? Although you said our lady is a dynamic lady, that's Miss Farah.
Farah?
What are you hearing on the ground? I know you are a campaigner, you are a man involved with the politics for a long time. What you hearing?
Well, I'll tell you what. Farah has a lot of clouds. And I admire two young persons, educated persons. What I pray for is the platform, the campaign is not bombarding, you know? I mean, Farah is educated. Farah is a disciplined person. She knows better. And she don't allow these things to persuade her.
Right.
You know? But I'll tell you something. I pray that, you see that French Martinique boat.
Yeah, they resuming
from 1st July.
Yeah, they're going to be resuming
so
business.
Let's see. That is where I trying to carry my evaluation there now.
In what way? You're saying we have a whole lot of people? I know there's a lot of people in the valley in Martinique.
Yeah, diaspora. Yes. We have a lot of people on either side, you know?
Yes.
So that is where my evaluation comes. Because remember last election, is only one ballot box, you know, this guy escaped with.
Yes.
So this because...
And where was that? That was in Olean or?
No, in Grand Ravine.
Grand Ravine. Yes, that is the labor stronghold. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, because they brought a lot of people from Martinique back door.
Grand Ravine has always been a labor stronghold.
But I'll tell you what, Farah is pulling a lot of people from him there because at the end of the day, her father's side, they are not labor people, but blood is thicker than water.
But I'll tell you something, Carl. If I was a candidate in these elections, I know I have my loyal people and I know I have the family members, but I was going to campaign on the basis of achievements. That is what I was going to vote. Because this government has made so many huge, great achievements for all to see.
Listener, achievements. This election is about work, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Achievements.
This is what it's all about. It's not about the flambeau or labor.
No,
it's about work.
That's my point. Let me ring the bell for you on that again.
That is what it's all about. Any real-minded person, put it in the scale and let's wait up.
Everything is there for all to see.
You understand what I'm saying to you? I asked for 3 years.
Yes.
You gave me 3 years. I deliver in a year and something, 2 years, and put the 4.5 together and let's wait up.
And 1 year was taken away, was stolen away due to the coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Yet still we were working.
Boy, let me tell you something.
Yet still we were working.
Listen to me. People really need to read between the lines. Can you imagine a pandemic where the entire world was shut and you have a visionary man as the Prime Minister still said, you know what, I'm not dying. I am going to put construction so people can still have something to do. This needs the bell, my friend.
Champagne.
This needs the bell.
Champagne. Not just the Prime Minister put construction, you know. But what it was costing the country, what was costing the country to handle COVID.
Yes, 300 million.
Out the country.
He said 300 million, and they were.
And yet still, we were able to keep our head above water.
You know what is 300 million? We just have money to just fight a pandemic, and nothing is coming back.
That's
$300 million.
That's all. Let me tell you something. This government has delivered. He has honored, and he worth another 2 terms.
I agree with that, my friend.
100%. I don't care who I talk to. I don't care who I say to. We deserve another 2 terms.
And listen to that, cow, before I let you go. If God gives, and I'm saying if because life and death is in the hands of God, if God blesses our Prime Minister with life and health, this St. Lucia will be the #1 Caribbean country. Not just OECS, Caribbean. Remember I said that today.
No, but listen now. Listen. The massive plan to unfold for Vieux-Fort South.
That is why I'm saying that.
Once you see that come to tuition, brother.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something. Need not worry. Need not worry. Because Vieux-Fort will be on the rise. It will be the hopeful place for everybody to come and sell and do their thing.
Yes.
Farmers will be moving. And I can tell you something. Despite what you hear people telling you and all this kind of stuff, the government is putting, I think all the ministers, all of them are on deck.
Everyone.
Everyone is on deck.
Everyone.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So at the end of the champagne, let somebody else have the line.
All right, my brother.
In a bit.
And don't forget, we need you up here. Even if your arm is broken, you don't speak with your arm, you speak with your mouth. Okay, my brother. Have a good weekend. All right, beautiful. That was my brother Cow there. Listen to me. Brother Cow knows all about the politics. Now, St. Lucia, I promised to play you this morning. I said we were going to do it so hold back on the calls, even if I see the phone lines are really lighting up. But hold back a little bit because I wanted to play the Since When That's Your Role. I wanted to play that again. So those of us that, had forgotten about it, I want you to remember the Since When That Was Your Role factor with the Honorable Guy Joseph. So we're going to play that, and we will get back to the program. I need to play also our Mr. Moses Baval, a little statement. So every day I'm going to play you maybe a few minutes of, back 2016 powerhouses of the United Workers' Party when they were, some we have gone to the great beyonds, like our Moses Baval. But, okay, let me take this international call, and then I'm going to do it after this one. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Gene Champagne.
Good morning. I can hear you. Good morning to you, sir.
Good. Well, afternoon to me. I'm calling you all the way from London.
Yes, I recognize the number.
I must UWP.
Oui.
I don't understand why these people, these Labour supporters, I don't know where their eyes are. Because all the progress that's happening internationally, and they're still saying Chastney must go, still saying Chastney we need change.
Yeah.
Labour supporters just love to be dependent on the government.
Yes, that's what.
I have made my slogan. When it comes to the Labour Party, if they cannot confuse you, if they cannot convince you, they'll confuse you.
Yeah.
I've always said so. But when it comes to it, I don't know. We fellows need to get off our backsides and start putting our hands in the dirt.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to start sorting ourselves out. We need to start doing for ourselves. But stop relying on a UWP government to give me. We're looking at, going back a bit, we're looking at during the time of the pandemic. La Panne internationally, and they still expect the government to give them money in their pockets. Mm-hmm. Where are we taking it? And plus that, look at the progress that's been being done behind that. And they still cannot see, cannot understand. I don't know what to do or what to say for them to comprehend what's going on. But I wish our government all the very best.
Yes.
And honestly, I wish them all the very, very best, and I'm hoping that.
Hello? Yeah, I think you're breaking up just a little bit. I was going to ask you, would you be able to come home to vote?
Well, Jean-Ben, to be honest with you, I've been trying to come down since last year.
Wow.
But I don't want to come down for 2 weeks.
I understand. I understand. That makes sense. Yes.
I don't want to come down for 2 weeks. I want to come down for...
At least a month.
I'll be down. My roots is from Soufrière. Harold knows me very, very well.
Okay.
Harold knows me very, very well.
Okay, great.
My roots from Soufrière. You know Archie Monroe in Soufrière?
I think I've heard the name.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, Harold knows me very, very well. And don't worry about it. At the end of the day, I'm sure Solutions probably hearing me or Jayton Missier.
Well, for those that you are in close contact with in England, and if you could allow, and you know they're coming home to vote, do a little campaigning. Make them know, let them know that St. Lucia is on the right track.
They know that. They know that. I don't have to tell them that.
Exactly.
They know that.
All right.
They know that. Anyway.
Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Blessings. Thanks again.
All right, beautiful. All right, great. My international calls, boy, and my phone lines are still going, but I want you to hold back on the calls just for at least 5 to 10 minutes, because I wanted to, as promised, I wanted to play you the Honorable Guy Joseph's statement, the Since When That's Your Role saga. I wanted to play that, and just bear with me just 2 minutes, and let's do a call while I search for it. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning, Champagne. How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. What about you?
Very good, not too bad. I just wanted to, I thought you'd have done that. I just wanted to correct the last speaker because the government did give, during the COVID, the government did help people financially, and a lot of people too.
Oh, no, he didn't say they did not. No, caller, he did not say they did not. He was saying that people need to get up and work. He did not say they didn't get assistance.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
That I agree with, that people have to, jobs are being provided and people have to apply for those jobs and get up and work. I mean, it's some people want particular specific jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, at this stage with the pandemic, we cannot pick and choose. We have to make a living, and we have to take whatever we can get.
That's exactly right.
At least for now. At least for now.
I don't know if you saw the news in the United States. I kept saying, and even before that news came out, I kept saying that the Labour Party has caused our people to get lazy. And only yesterday I was watching the international news, and they are saying people have gotten so comfortable during the coronavirus because the government were taking care of them, giving them those little checks, and now it's a struggle for people to go back to work. I saw that. I could not believe it.
They were making, well, at one time they made more money than if they were at work.
Amen.
So, it is not a good practice for government to be giving handouts.
Thank you very much.
You have to encourage your people to work. This is the whole aspect of government. Government have to provide the job, and people have to work.
My brother, you are right.
Any government that tells me you're going to dish out money to people instead of providing jobs for them is a ridiculous government.
It is ridiculous.
Because you cannot afford, especially in a small country like this, you cannot afford to continue dishing out money to people all the time. What you have to do is to provide the jobs. And that's what we see the United Workers' Party is doing. They're providing the jobs, and people have to go out and do the work.
How long?
Look at the effort. Look at the effort that they're making, that the government is making in trying to get the cruise ship sector back.
Yes.
And now we have the hotels opening again, and we have the construction sector booming.
Sir.
Come on, man. You have to be blind not to see what is going on in the country. People have to stop believing. People have to stop believing the foolishness that some people are saying, that when they get in, they'll put $120 million. They inject $120 million into the. Look, we are spending a lot more than $120 million, and most of the loans that the Prime Minister has taken, they are on concessionary terms. I mean, things like 2% interest,
and
5% interest.
And some of them we have moratoriums on most of them. You have at least 5 years.
There's moratoria for 20 years, for 5 years,
for 5 years, 10
4
years,
years, and stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, look at this last loan that they're looking for.
Yes.
This is at a concessionary rate.
Yes.
And there's a 4-year moratorium on it. And and so you have to take advantage of that now, because otherwise, because in 4 years' time, hopefully your economy will be booming again. You have already put in the infrastructure and made the necessary provision for the economy to grow, and so you expect to be collecting more than $1 billion by far.
Yes, sir.
In annual revenue.
You have a breathing space.
Servicing those loans will not be a major problem. I mean, people have to begin to think economics. And this is what Alan Chastanet is thinking. Those persons who are just trying to please the voters and fool them and say they will remove tax here and remove tax there and remove this, remove that. But Alan Chastanet has already done that.
Exactly.
He removed property tax.
Yes.
He reduced the VAT. He reduced the license fees.
Yeah, the amnesty on the hospitals. That's all what they're saying.
There will be further reduction. There will be further reduction on the VAT. I think he wishes to eliminate it, but I think at least we can see VAT go down to 10%.
Yes.
Or even 8% or 7%.
Exactly.
And we might even change that VAT to a sales tax and call it a day.
You know something I want to engage you.
You're going to make more money.
I would like to engage you in something. So the Prime Minister in the election of 20, when he mentioned ching, ching, ching in your pocket, a lot of people did not see what it meant. They thought it was getting money directly from the government. Here's one of the examples I want to give you. So I renewed my visa in 2019, all right, 2 years ago. So I had to pay the airfare. Yeah. I had to pay the airfare. I had to pay the taxi. I had to pay to get something to eat. And the good thing for me, I did not overnight. I was able to get back home on the same day. But here's the difference now. What has happened? Now, you don't have to pay for a ticket. You don't have to pay for taxi in Barbados. All you do is send your passport up. Isn't that ching-ching in your pocket?
Exactly.
You're saving money.
Over $1,500.
Exactly.
You're saving over $1,500.
That is ching-ching.
It's like... And it's so much easier for a St. Lucian to get a visa now than it was before.
Every day.
I mean, it's just amazing the things that he has done and the thinking that he has, and yet still people are going to listen to people who talk foolishness. And the thing about it is they're not coherent. Those guys are talking and they're not coherent. You can hardly understand what they're actually saying because
it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, they're saying nothing, but they want to make you believe that they're saying something.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't want to take
Thank you, buddy.
time, but I mean, we got to ask St. Lucians to open their eyes and open their ears, man. Listen to the truth.
I would really like for you to give me a little sit down one of these days. You and I, we have a great conversation. So get in touch. Give me a call one of these days. We need to talk politics up here at Sky FM.
I will do that.
All right, my brother.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And this is a gentleman I admire every time. All of my callers, every single one of you, from international, local, my people are such great people. We really do appreciate you guys. But this is what the ching-ching the Prime Minister was talking about. He did not tell you he's going to just take money from the treasury like the SLP said and put it in your hand. Listen to what has happened in the United States. I saw the news. People are so comfortable because of the coronavirus, and the government has been given those checks, given food stamps. Persons have become so relaxed at home that they are not about to go back to work. I could not believe, and I spoke about that way before I saw the news. This is what the SLP is about. When they say to you, they're going to give you money, you are developing a lazy society, and this is what the SLP is about. This government is not about that. They are providing the jobs. You go out there and earn a living. Get a job, have something to do with your money, and live your life. Instead of how long can the SLP afford? Okay. And Dr. Secret said it last week. He said he worked, his wife works, and his daughter works. Between them, I don't know how much they make. But let's assume each one of them would like $3,000. Let's say $2,000. So between the three people, this is $6,000 every month. You think the Labour Party could continue to give Dr. Secret's family or my family $6,000 for 12 months? This is all a bluff. People need to read between those lines. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It is not normal for a government to give you money. You give what you have. You cannot give what you don't have. It's like me telling a girl, boy, I really like to see you. I'll build your home. And the girl fall in love with me and a whole year pass, pas yon clue. I didn't have it. It's all a bluff. It's a bluff, and people need to read between those lines. How could you give what you don't have? My lines are ringing up, but callers, just bear with me just for a little bit. I want to play this Since When That's Your Role saga back then, when the Honorable Boy, this man, and I wish I could have put it on I'm doing audio, I wish I could have done video.
Speaker, some people, they feel their family don't have name. So they can drag it in the dirt and they can say what they want about you. But when it's other people, that's why I said, history can be cruel, but the present can be more cruel. Mr. Speaker, there are some very interesting things in this. Mr. Speaker, I'm making reference to the contract signed. And Mr. Speaker, the two names that I see there, name of the contractor or the person who signs, Managing Director, Reno Gajada. Signature or name of position for the ministry, Dr. Alison Gajada. Position, Permanent Secretary. Now, Mr. Speaker, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's in the document. And I've committed to making it a document of the House, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, I have to ask this question here today. What is the relationship between the contractor
Honourable Member
and the permanent?
What is the relevance of that question? What is the relevance of that question?
I seem to be losing my, let's get back to it.
You see, Mr. Speaker, some people, they feel their family don't have name.
I'm trying to start it all over.
They can drag it in the dirt and they can say what they want about you. But when it's other people, that's why I said history can be cruel, but the present can be more cruel. Mr. Speaker, there are some very interesting things in this. Mr. Speaker, I'm making reference to the contract signed. And Mr. Speaker, the two names that I see there, name of the contractor or the person who signs, Managing Director, Reno Gajada. Signature or name of position for the ministry, Dr. Alison Gajada. Position, Permanent Secretary. Now, Mr. Speaker, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's in the document. And I've committed to making it a document of the House, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, I have to ask this question here today. What is the relationship between the contractor
Honourable Member,
and the permanent
what is
secretary?
the relevance of that question? What is the relevance of that question?
I'm answering you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's hear it.
So you listened, you heard the response from the Speaker?
Of who is the permanent secretary? It is the issue of who signs.
What is the relevance of your suggestion?
Mr.
What
Speaker,
are you saying?
I'm coming to this.
Please say it quickly.
Okay.
You heard that?
Mr. Speaker,
Like
in the past,
schoolmaster.
Several accusations were leveled.
And remember, we're not going into the past now. You have embarked on a course of conduct here. You need to tell me what the relevance is.
Mr. Speaker, you are in charge of this House. You will allow me to make my presentation, or you will not allow me to make my presentation. I am making reference to the signatories on behalf of the government of St. Lucia and the contractor.
What are you saying?
And the point I am making is, why is this contract? Why I have questions about this contract.
Have you investigated the relationship?
I don't know the relationship.
So why are you going there?
Mr. Speaker.
And remember, I will not have you try and impute any improper motives to anybody outside of this House or inside without proper evidence or proper foundation.
Mr. Speaker.
Please do not go there.
Mr. Speaker, I am making reference to a document of the ministry. So you are telling me that I cannot make...
I have asked you, this is the last time I'll ask you. What is the relevance?
But Mr. Speaker, I am developing my point as to why this contract was signed.
Before you continue, what is the relevance?
Mr. Speaker, the relevance is we need to establish how this contract went through.
That's a completely different thing to where you've been going.
Mr. Speaker,
if you want to present your contribution on the nature of the contract, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. But I will come back, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I will come back to this one, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the bill, the bills in this, and you will understand where I'm going, Mr. Speaker. The bill of quantities here, Mr. Speaker. It is so small you can't even find it. Mr. Speaker, this is the bill of quantities. A quarter page. Mr. Speaker, I have seen other projects and other contracts that cost less than $10 million. And the bill of quantities, Mr. Speaker, is about 40 pages. On this one, Mr. Speaker, it is 1 page. 1 page. And it just gives grand summary. And on this bill of quantities is $25,039,383.58. That is the extent of the bill of quantities, Mr. Speaker. Now you have to ask yourself, Mr. Speaker, how, with such limited information, how could the ministry go into signing a contract for this amount of money with that little bit of information? Mr. Speaker, there's more. There's more. Mr. Speaker, now this book doesn't have all the pages, but in this instance it has page 24. Page 24 says, time of completion of works, 450 calendar days from commencement date. The line below, defects notification period, 450 calendar days from commencement date. Now, Mr. Speaker, every project that is executed by a contractor on behalf of the government of St. Lucia, have a defects liability period. They have since changed it from defects liability period to defects notification period. Mr. Speaker, how can the project's defects liability period end the same day that the project ends? So you don't want me to be concerned, Mr. Speaker? Most roads have 1 year defects liability period. If you do concrete works, it has a defects liability period depending on the scope of the works. Mr. Speaker, is it passing strange that both the defects liability period, so in other words, Mr. Speaker, you know what this is saying? The contractor finishes the road today, he does the handover, and all his liabilities are over. Mr. Speaker, I want to know how you're explaining this, because apparently you don't know what's going on. Mr. Speaker, but you didn't hear what I read. 450 calendar days from commencement date is the completion of the project. 450 calendar days from the commencement is the same time period of the defects liability period. Mr. Speaker, I can only go on what is there. Okay? And if that is what the bid submitted, anybody who knows anything about bidding and looking at that process would know that this is a component that should be rejected. Mr. Speaker, how can you have? So you are telling me that the contractor can go and build the road, do shoddy work, on the surface it may look good, and then when he hands over the road to the government today, he has no more liability towards anything? Mr. Speaker, that's what's in the document. Both of them have the same commencement period and the same ending time period. And you don't want me to be concerned? You don't want me to question how this is happening? The government can enter into a contract of that nature?
Honorable Member, I don't want to give you a lecture in contract law, but that's not what it means. And I think you should know that. You were in the ministry for a period of time. You know that the defects liability period does not mean that it absolves the contractor from liability.
Mr. Speaker,
so please do not give the wrong impression.
Mr. Speaker, you will allow me to make my point?
No.
I didn't know you were part of the debate, Mr. Speaker.
When I am speaking, you sit down.
Can you believe that? Even if it's the rule of the House.
Mr. Speaker, some people, they feel that
even if it's the rule of the House. So even if it's the rule, and I was getting close to my to
some people.
My
they
goodness.
Feel their family don't have name, so they can drag.
All right, so I was getting to the really meat of things there, and I just lost my. I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get it. Let me get to the bottom of it. Heard how the expression of the Speaker of the House at the time. When I speak, you sit. You know what I mean? You heard that from the Speaker of the House. And I'm just, I don't know what happened to my, that we were getting into the real meat of things there. And for some reason, I happened to lose it. But I'm going to get it back. And you just bear with me, St. Lucia. So I get that back, because this is the most important part of the entire contribution, and I lost it just for a little bit. But I promise you that I'll get it back. And let's try to get it back here. Let's see how much I could get it back.
Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time, on the surface it may look good.
All right, I think I got something back.
And then when he hands over the road to the government today, he has no more liability towards any
Well, I don't want to give you a
period. And you don't want me to be concerned? You don't want me to question how this is happening? The government can enter into a contract of that nature?
Honorable member, I don't want to give you a lecture.
Listen to the speaker.
Contract law, but that's not what it means. And I think you should know that. You were in the ministry for a period of time. You know that the defects liability period does not mean that it absolves the contractor from liability.
Mr. Speaker,
so please do not give the wrong impression.
Mr. Speaker, you will allow me to make my point?
No.
I didn't know you were part of the debate, Mr. Speaker.
When I am speaking, you sit down.
Listen to the demeanor, listen to the expression.
If something is blatantly wrong, I will stop you because you're out of order. And you should know that the defects liability period does not absolve the contractor from liability. Do you know what it means?
Can you believe that?
It means that during that period, if there is something wrong, the retention that is kept would be utilized.
Now for the speaker to ask the minister who was being a minister of infrastructure at the time, it was whatever it was at the time, ask him if he knows what it means. I thought that was very disrespectful. You see, these people from the Labour Party has always looked at the Honorable Guy Joseph as a nobody because they believe they're almighty and powerful. This is what is eating them up every single day, that this man has emerged. He has the blessing of God. He's a David. And they believe the Goliath is, and all of the Goliaths that David destroyed them, so they cannot stand this man. But this man has the strength and the power of the great God, the Almighty. So when you have a prominent lawyer and was the Speaker of a House, as in Mr. Peter Foster, looking down at this small individual, being so dynamic, so powerful, an individual they saw as just an ordinary farmer or an ordinary bus driver, you know, and for him to be standing when you have all those powerhouses sitting there, and he is bringing it directly to their faces, they could not stomach it. This is why this man, Peter Foster, the Speaker of the House, could not deal with Guy Joseph. Let's continue.
To repair those defects. It does not absolve the contractor from liability. Now, please proceed.
And he's angry. He's angry.
Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate, but when you want to be part of the debate, come on this side or
That's
come
right.
on this side.
That is right.
Remember,
that
you
is right.
are being out of order. Again.
Well, do what you have to do, Mr. Speaker.
If you can persist in this, I will do what I have to do.
You go right ahead, Mr. Speaker.
That is courage right there. That is courage right there. You know, listen to me. The orders of the House of Parliament, some I know, I probably might not know all. And I know the chamber there is solely responsible. The responsibility, the one in charge of the House is the Speaker of the House. Now, I saw nothing or heard anything that the Honorable Guy Joseph was saying that was being disrespectful or being out of order. I saw nothing. But for some reason, and I just said it, the Speaker of the House and all of those other people could not stomach the Honorable Guy Joseph for what he has become. They could not understand it because this man is eating them raw. The same one that they saw as nothing, as just an ordinary bus driver, is eating them up. Let's continue.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, you think I can get fair treatment in this house?
No, you can't.
You think you want to stop me when I mention certain names on the contract?
Honorable member, please proceed with your contribution.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if I'm going to proceed with my contribution, you allow me to proceed with my contribution.
That's right.
You will proceed within the rules, the standing orders.
Mr. Speaker, I am reading what's in the contract. You want to come and interpret contract to me in this honorable house?
Yes, yes. interpret contracts to a gentleman, a minister, that knew all about contracts. An individual that was the Minister of Infrastructure, knows about contract, get involved with contractors, and you want to interpret contracts to a man, you don't have any reasoning to explain what contract signing and contracts are to the Honorable Guy Joseph. So I'm really, listen, let's continue.
And I'm supposed to sit there and listen to you interpreting contract? Since when your role is to interpret contract in the House? Since when that's your role?
Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role? And that became very, very popular. That became famous. Songs were made, songs were sung, songs were written. And that was one. Listen to me. Listen to me. My admiration for the Honorable Guy Joseph is something of listen, huge proportion. For his courage, his bravery. Not too many people, because Peter Foster was not a walk around. Peter Foster is a lawyer. He knows the law. He's been a lawyer for a long time. He's a very educated individual. And him there as a Speaker of the House was no pushover. And this guy, this minister, this Honorable Guy Joseph, this is why a lot of St. Lucians love this man. Despite all the nonsense the Labour Party has branded upon this man, St. Lucians are falling in love by the day with this man because of that. That statement in the House, that bravery, that form of courage, I believe it had a huge part to play with the United Workers' Party government being, the United Workers' Party being in government today. That statement, it shows courage. What it did for people like me, a supporter of the United Workers' Party, it made me feel so strong, so proud. And he was standing there all by himself. It is really sad to say that, but there were none other of the other parliamentarians on the UWP side at that time throughout the entire contribution. And those of you who have seen it, I'm going to show it on TV one of these days. I'm just doing the audio, but I'm going to show, not to bring them down, not to make them feel any bad way, but throughout this entire contribution by the Honorable Guy Joseph, since when that's your rule saga, there were no supporting members during the time. Let's continue.
How you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I am telling you, I am reading what's in the contract. You want to come and interpret contract to me as Speaker of the House?
Listen to me. Isn't that courage and bravery? You could say to me, the character of the gentleman on that day was not in accordance with the House. And I said it before, I don't know all of the details of the standing orders or the House rules. I don't know. I have not taken the liberty to go through all of it. Although I should know all of it by now because I'm involved with the politics. I think I should. I don't know all of it, but I do know some. And for the Speaker, who is in charge of the chamber or in charge of the House, to try to interpret contracts to a minister of infrastructure, I think he was very much out of place, and that is what got Guy Joseph, the Honorable Guy Joseph, very angry to have someone that didn't know anything about contract signing, contract arrangements, and to try to school him about contract. Let's continue, just a few more minutes.
My interpretation is false. I am asking this honorable House. I am saying that you have in your project, in your bill that was signed, in the contract document, that time for completion of works is 450 days. Defects notification period is 450 days from commencement. And I'm asking, how is that possible? And I want you to show me other contracts where it has been done that way. Show me. Because, like you said, I was minister. And I know that when contractors design works, so if the work is short, the retention is only 10%. Only 10%. 10% of the contract sum is how much? $2.9 million. So if the whole surface of the road is defective because the work was not properly done, you're telling me that the contractor has been absolved and you're going to use the 10% retention? And that's how you want to interpret law to me about contracts?
Honourable Member, you are being disrespectful to the chair. please maintain your respect for this.
In what way?
For this position, for the House, for yourself, for the people that you are representing.
You heard where he went with that? The people you are representing. In what way has he disrespected the chair?
Please do not persist in that level of debate.
They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle what was being said. The speaker and all of them. They couldn't. A dagger went through their heart. A dagger went through their heart. They couldn't handle that.
I'd prefer you not engage me in debate.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I move on. Since when the Speaker is part of the debate of the House? I'm obeying the rules. I'm obeying the rules. It's the Speaker that not obeying the rules, not me that not obeying the rules. It's the Speaker who not obeying the rules, not me.
Honourable
so
member,
tell the Speaker
you are
obey
out
the
of
rules.
order. I will ask that you discontinue your speech now and take your seat.
You heard that? Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. Too much. Too much courage, too much strength, too much bravery. Couldn't handle it from a small guy. And they all powerful.
Castries East.
Powerful and mighty. So, St. Lucia, this is what I wanted to play to you this morning. The Since When That's Your Rule saga. And I know most of you remember that. Some of you maybe have forgotten it, but we never forget it. The tips are always there. My phone lines are going crazy. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Morning, Champagne.
Good morning.
Champagne.
Yes, sir.
You know what went on there?
Uh-huh.
Who are you?
Yes.
A bus driver.
Yes.
And dominate my house.
The mighty lawyers, the mighty doctors, the mighty whatever degree they had.
They cannot deal with him.
Couldn't.
And Champagne, these lawyers learn psychology. And they use us. If you are stupid, the psychology will work on you.
Yes.
Champagne, you see that parliamentary rep? Champagne, I can stand anywhere and boast him. Okay? And boast him from where he came from, and where he's at.
Let me say this to you.
It was not by it was by God's grace.
The man is blessed by God. When Alan Chasney decides if he wants to retire, I can see Guy Joseph being my prime minister. Remember, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for me.
I have said it before.
Okay.
That he was on your show and I told you can see a leader sitting right in front.
Right there. Right there. This man's courage. This man's bravery.
So John saw what was in this guy.
Of course. Of course.
They had him, you see, you know what keeping them up? They had him and they never recognized what they had. Because he was just a president of a bus driver.
Hold on there, caller. Let me give you the bell on that. Let me give you the bell. And you're a brilliant guy, this is why I love my people, because brilliant people call this show. They saw him as nothing but a bus driver.
Like they maybe use him to get the bus driver. Yeah,
this is what they saw.
They didn't realize the character and what it's made of.
The gem that they had, and they lost it.
And that is eating. You see him, I can put him and to stand up against any of them.
But he have listen to me, he have put out the challenge on multiple occasions. He said, all three of you all and just me, we're going to debate on multiple occasions.
They will not take it.
Okay.
Who went and studied economics?
Yes.
And studied astronomics? All of them.
Caller, I wish I could have put out the video along with that audio, the entire thing on TV, so the all of my viewers could see the demeanor of the speaker's face. He was angry. He couldn't deal with it.
You know the thing about him? He doesn't get nervous. He doesn't get heated up. He's always calm, and he answers them in time.
Yes. But on that one occasion, he was really angry because when that speaker, you know what got the minister angry? When the speaker tried to determine contracts to him, tell him what contracts are.
But something it is easy.
Yeah.
The contract clause, if there's how they call the retention, you cannot have a contract starting Monday and it ends Friday.
And there's no liabilities?
There's no liability on Friday. So next week,
this is the way the Labour Party do things. So if there was a defect in the road, they would have to pay the man again a whole set of money to fix it.
Basic common sense.
Basic common sense that these guys don't have.
Basic common sense.
Yeah. Thank you, caller. I have so many calls coming in there because of that little statement.
They have a lot of him to deal with.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Champagne.
And good morning to you, darling.
That is the day I fell in love with Mr. Guy Joseph.
Exactly.
That is the day.
Yes.
Yes. He will not be silenced.
That's right.
He will not. And that Speaker of the House was biased.
My goodness.
As biased as they come. That's what he was.
He was angry to
yes.
caller.
Yes, he was. He was. Because he knew what Guy Joseph was getting at.
That's
he
right.
knew. And so he was trying to silence him.
Mm-hmm.
To save face
Yes.
for the administration. That's what he was doing.
And Guy would never be silenced.
Up to this day, up to this day, Guy Joseph is standing. And he's standing tall.
Yes.
And then I stand with him, Champagne. I stand with him.
We all do. We all do.
Yes.
Trust me. We all do.
Yes.
They cannot deal with this
day,
one. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Mi amigo.
Hey, ¿cómo está, señor?
Está bien.
Boy, I know you heard the the recording.
Something not now I try and get that line. And I was listening to the tip, man.
Yes.
But them fellas can team my boss. They can team the boss.
All of them together. All of them together.
Do like the caller said, to try and keep him quiet.
And he refused to stay quiet on that day.
He cannot.
Yeah.
He cannot be quiet when he have his facts.
You have his facts.
Yeah.
You have his facts, my friend. All right, buddy.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I call you for a favor, Yasa. Yesterday, my son and the mother went to Castries by his Scots to buy a
Well, call me on my line when I leave after the program.
Because I just want you to collect that thing for me at the
Yeah, call me on my line after the program.
Yeah. I hope I get you.
You get me. Call me on my line.
All right, bro.
All right, my brother. Beautiful. All right, great. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Champagne.
Good morning to you.
I am calling in connection with what Guy Joseph, the way he acts. I'm so happy.
Yes.
I'm so happy with the way Guy Joseph acted there.
He made us proud.
And then, and I support you about when you said that Guy Joseph should be the next Prime Minister. The first person I heard that said that was Lambert Smith from Saltinos.
Okay.
We were at a funeral at Lakewood.
Yes.
And he called Guy Joseph and he told Guy Joseph, you should be the next Prime Minister.
Okay.
Because the way you speak, everybody respects you and you would be the best in next Prime Minister in St. Louis.
He's a very courageous individual. All right, darling. Thank you. Thank you very much. How is New York?
He's a very courageous individual.
All right, darling. Thank you. Thank you very much. How is New York?
New York is fine.
All right. Okay. All right. Have a good day. Okay. Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, man, I listened to that and I'm happy that you brought that thing back. But
yes.
You should try to make it in real time for people to remember.
Yes. I'm going to show it though.
Yeah, but I must say, man, Guy Joseph is a very encouraged politician.
Yes.
A brave politician.
Brave. That's what I like.
And one of the best in the Caribbean.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Match anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent in an invitation, not Guy Joseph giving that invitation. I am giving them the invitation. Philip J. Pierre, Kenny Anthony, Musa, all the 6 horsemen.
Yeah.
To come to the table and debate.
That's right.
The Honorable Guy Joseph.
Yes.
Because all of these guys, they're trying to believe they know about the politics, but they do not know the politics.
They don't.
They don't know the politics.
And they are not loved, caller. The St. Lucian people, even the Labour Party supporters, you could see the reaction. They don't even love their candidates. There's a love for Alan Chastney. There's a love for Guy. There's a love for Stephenson King. There's a love by the people for Dominic Fede, for all Estee, all of the people. There's a love.
And Champagne, let me tell you, the same QC. You remember when the victimization came under the St. Lucia Labour Party. Over 300 workers.
Yes, the CCC, yes.
The following day, there were 600 people looking for jobs. They call them in the Labour Act.
Yes.
Okay? That same QC was representing the government
in
the court.
I remember.
And that was conflict of interest.
Ah, well
that
said.
Was conflict of interest.
Of course.
Speaker
of course.
House, representing government at a court case.
Yes.
Where
yes.
the contractors sue the government of the day. Could you believe that?
This is why this thing dragged for such a long time.
Yeah.
This is the reason.
When they saw it was seated, it called during the time of the United Workers' Party.
Yes.
QC Foster was cross-examining me on the stand. Now, let me tell you, a bunch of hypocrites, the Labour Party. Most of the contractors, sorry to say that, and it's not everybody that have the brain that could read and write. They used to have some of the contractors on the stand cross-examining them for 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
Just to see that those people never had a contract, just to put them in the darkness. But Champagne, all of them, when you're going on the stand, St. Lucians, you all need to listen to that. Most of them carried and right, but you know what has happened? The court clerk asks you, or the magistrate, the judge, whatever it is, can you read and write? So the court clerk could help you.
Right.
Most of them couldn't do it. But when I see that, I said, well, boy, let me play my Jimmy Fix too. Because I could read and write, I understand the procedure. I wanted to say no, just for her to sympathize with us too. But I said, nah, man. I said, yes, I could read. Boy, they give me one stack of documents.
Yeah, to read that. Yeah.
Boy, and then when they go in section, blah, 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 the little codes them things that have.
Yeah.
Then when I look in, then the town clerk, they know about the files, they could get it much faster than you. And they read the thing to me and tell me, well, X, Y, Z. Man, I start putting them fellas in their place. When he, QC, and his defense team realized they could trap me, after 15 minutes, my honor, no further questions. So you see, you have to go toe-to-toe with those guys. You have to be brave. If you play, you quiet, they're going to mash you up, man.
Yeah, you have to be brave.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
We won the case.
And this is, I'm happy.
On the program, I'm waiting for the right time. Let me expose the St. Lucia Labour Party.
I'm happy with the word. I'm happy with the word that you use. You have to be brave, and that applies to all of the United Workers' Party supporters. You need to stay the course and be brave, because what the Labour Party is trying to do, they're trying to instill fear into our people, so our people don't come out to vote. But our people need to stay focused and be brave.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this government, they were not the one that suffered. A lot of people saying, you're like, go get money. And the Honorable Alan Shastney and his cabinet studied that very well.
Yep.
And they realized what you can do for people. Like
something that happened under the Labour Party.
Their own people.
Yeah.
They don't care about poor people.
They don't care about no poor people.
Money.
Exactly.
And under the leadership of Alan Shastney, they paid the contractors.
Thank you, buddy.
I have to say, kudos to the United Workers'
Amen.
Party. So
all right.
Young people, those guys, do not trust them.
Amen.
Because they're talking about poor people, the Malawi. Tell them go back here.
Yeah.
Because all those they shaft at the time, they were Malawi.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend.
We need to vote them out, and I'm calling on the young people. Go in large numbers.
Yes.
Because you remember when they're talking about Ojo Labs and
yes.
the call centers.
They said they'll shut it down.
More.
Yeah.
Vote them out, because there is more Ojo Labs, more call centers
to come.
To hire thousands of people to give the young people that live in school a chance
to
earn a living and to buy a piece of land. I thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Well said. Well said. Beautiful. And there are more Ojo Labs to come, and I'm really, really impressed with that. When there are so many more Ojo Labs to come. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you, darling? Good morning.
I'm fine. I endorse that caller.
Yes.
I was listening to your tip with Guy Joseph.
Yes.
And the only person that could stand up, that could give a man courage to stand up against the bullying that was happening there,
yes,
is God.
Yes. That's right, caller.
Almighty God.
That's right. I said that.
Okay.
That's right.
The Holy Spirit had to be inside of that body to stand up and not crumble.
Yes. Yes.
And Satan saw anybody that listened to that tape.
Yes, I agree.
That was Satan in there intimidating that man for him to sit down and obey the voice of him. And he refused. That is David and Goliath. Okay? All right. Now, yesterday was Ernest Hiller's case. They say don't mention the name, but I don't like mentioning the name because they're in the public figure.
Yeah.
Yesterday was his case. They adjourned it again for the 9th of July.
Oh, yeah, I know. I said that. And caller, bear with me 1 minute. When that thing went to court, I could remember that very well, myself and Brother Norbert. I say, Brother Norbert, I know how this country operates. Those high-profile people, this will be adjourned and adjourned and adjourned and adjourned. And I listen, I'm so right. This is the 4th adjournment.
Okay. But there is a time, just like the Holy Spirit stood behind Guy, there is a time the Holy Spirit have to stand up behind the judge and tell her that's the last time you're doing it. And if they think they're fooling the people of St. Lucia, they're not. They are not. And all the people that are making the noise there, they are the SLP hacks. That's the hacks that keeping the noise. We are not blind. We've seen everything that is happening. A case like that was supposed to be done and dealt with already.
I believe that.
A piece of document that state is asking this individual to bring to the court.
Yes.
To present.
Yes.
And it cannot happen. It has 5 years already.
Can you believe it?
That man makes so much noise saying if he doesn't worth, if he cannot own a vehicle, he doesn't worth whatever when he was dangling his keys.
Yeah.
And today, in the eyes of St. Lucian, in the eyes of the region, because it's all over the news everywhere, and today, that man have been going to court up and down. You cannot present that piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And y'all are adjourning it to see if you happen to get into
That's
power.
Right, caller.
The case will
That
just be
is
thrown
right.
under the carpet.
That is right. That is the strategy.
And all the people that are supporting him from Castries South, sorry, they are watching I would say it's criminal against the state. It's an offense against the state. They are watching it say city where black.
You know, caller, let me say something here. You know, a high-profile case like that, I'm wondering if when those adjournments have been called, whether or not the general public is not supposed to know the reasoning for the adjournment. You know anything in that regard?
It should. It should, because they represent the people.
Exactly.
And that's the people's business.
That is my point.
That is the people's business.
That is my point. This is the gentleman that is running for office.
When the Prime Minister stood in the house and he told Ernest Hiller, his best friend up in Barbados got arrested. He wants to see the outcome of it. They arrested the man and they cannot arrest Ernest Hiller for doing what he did there.
Well, you're in
but they want Shasta to follow Mia Motley. So why is it they cannot arrest Ernest Hiller? Not too long ago they arrested a Bajan minister in Miami for what? Money laundering they have him. I don't know. What is wrong with our system? Our justice system?
Caller, I believe a gentleman of that magnitude, someone that is going for office, highest office of the land, not in the Prime Minister, but one of the highest offices, is involved with a court case, high-profile court case. It has been looked as I don't want to call it the name I want to call it, so leave that alone. The adjournments, I believe the people of St. Lucia should know or should have the reasoning behind the adjournments. This is not champagne in court that has a traffic ticket or a traffic law case. This is a man that is running for office, one of the highest offices of the land, and he is involved in some court case. We need the electorates of Castries South. They need to know who they're voting for. So we need to know what are the reasons behind all of those adjournments. What is the reason for them? We need to know.
Well, I give you the reason already, Champagne. The reason is they're trying to protect him that he will not face jail time if in case they call the election and they happen to win.
So it's going to be swept under the mat.
God has a way of making us pay.
Yeah.
Because if they think they're going to get into office, they will not be there, and he will take his block. It's coming. It's coming, and I always say, if you see the UWP supporters who like me, I would find the court area, and I would have my placard, and I want them to tell me the reason. Because if the SLP can do it, we can demand for answers.
I agree.
Nonsense. That's our country.
Yes.
We are concerned citizens, and we want to know what, Anyway, have a blessed
Thank you, darling. Have a great weekend. Beautiful. All right, great. And I agree with the caller. We need to know what's going on. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. This is my first time.
Oh.
First time caller.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I listen to your program every day. And
Thank
I
you.
want to give kudos to the 3 wonderful, magnificent women on the Flambeau
Yes.
forum last
We have
night.
to give them the bell again.
Well spoken, well articulated.
Yes. Beautiful.
A vision
Beautiful.
for the country.
Yes.
And I say thank you, ladies. I listen to everything, and actually 4 of them, because the one who were asking the question were very good.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Oh my
we
goodness.
have a
Miss
vision.
Balmo is
The
brilliant. Is
UWP
brilliant.
Right. The UWP government do have a vision, and I say thank you to the Prime Minister. I want to let you know that I'm praying for you, and you have a prayer warriors praying for the UWP and you, Prime Minister. Kudos to you. We love you.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Thank you, darling.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Champagne.
Good morning to you, my brother. How you doing?
I listened to the episode this morning with Guy Joseph.
You call it an episode. Yes.
Champagne, this brings to the fore the fact that the more power you have, Champagne, and the more authority you have, is the more disciplined you have to be as an individual.
That is true. That is true.
Because there always is the temptation to abuse that power and abuse that authority. And this is what I think happened in the house.
Yeah.
Referring to Guy himself.
Yeah.
I remember, Champagne, when Guy was first mentioned as a possible candidate to Sir John. There were people, even in the United Workers' Party, who had serious doubts about him. So John decided to interview the gentleman. So John returned and told them, gentlemen, we have ministerial material here.
Right.
In this man, Guy Joseph. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not one who is in the business of putting people down.
You shouldn't.
But I was neither here nor there because I didn't know much about it.
Right.
The Champagne, I hear people speak of bravery and so on. What has led me to admire the gentleman is the fact that Champagne, this gentleman has grown.
Yes.
That's what gets me. He has grown. And I think this is an example for young people that when people have doubts about you,
yes,
and when they think you cannot do this and you cannot do that,
You proved them wrong.
Proved them wrong.
Proved them wrong.
I have tried it myself.
Yes.
Yes. And this is my message to the young people.
Mm-hmm.
Prove them wrong.
Yes, sir.
Because they always think they have some kind of reasons why you cannot do this and you cannot do that. You come from this family or you come from that community and whatever and whatever.
What you get out of
have doubts about you, prove them wrong.
What you get out of the recording I just played with all the powerhouses, the speaker being a QC, and then you have the Dr. Anthony on the other side, and they all paid attention because they knew what guy was saying. And they had to silence him, but he was deterred. He could not be silenced. He kept going on and on.
Yes. There's, Champagne, I'll tell you something about the mentality of the St. Lucia Labour Party and the kind of people that they attract. Now, Champagne, don't laugh. I know you like to laugh.
Yeah.
Champagne, I was 20 years old and I visited a construction site. And I saw a young man there. He probably was just about 2 or 3 years older than me. And I admired the man, the way he worked. And, he really looked like a guy who knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was in that particular field, I would have regarded him as a mentor.
Okay.
Champagne, I told you I was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 or so years ago, I happened to be in an area and I saw this man. A friend called out to him and said, "Hey, you're not working these days, man. What happened to the project that you were working on? Or project you were supposed to be working on?" Something like that. And Champagne, you wouldn't believe what the man's response was. I told you about 6 or 7 years ago,
Mm.
The man replied, Champagne, "I am waiting for the boss to come down to give me money to pay my license."
Wow. And who was the boss?
Champagne, you don't know what the boss. I was in the south.
Okay. So once you say the South, I know who the boss is. A same individual.
That's a kind of mentality.
Yes.
These people have.
Yes. Yes.
But I'll tell the young people, if they continue to cultivate that mentality, they'll get nowhere and the country will go nowhere.
Amen to that, my friend. We have to work. Thank you, my brother. Beautiful. And St. Lucia, I just got word that our Prime Minister is going to be making a little visit here in a little bit. He's not going to be here too long. So for those of you who are listening, that the Prime Minister will be making an appearance right here at Sky FM in just a little bit. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, my brother. I'm good.
Yes. You were asking a question about if the public's supposed to know about the reason for the adjournment.
Yes.
Well, the reason we don't know, Champagne, is because the people that are supposed to be handling the reins, the reporters and the journalists,
yes,
those seem to be around anything that has the slightest thing where the Labour Party will be in the red.
Yes, I want to ring the bell on that.
The reporters are just disinclined to report anything where SLP, it seems, may fall short. I don't know. Any little thing that is on the UWP that has even just a little ink dot, they are there with a mic in front of the UWP people. And it's just amazing how they don't find themselves in front of anybody except when they have some crap to say.
Boy, that is really something. And for these people, these media houses to be showing loyalty.
I do not know, man. How comes that in St. Lucia that we have no laws?
I don't understand
no safeguards. I mean, how is that possible for the media to be so one-sided?
One-sided.
When the media is supposed to be seen as impartial.
Impartial, independent.
Reporting the news and reporting factual news.
Yes, sir.
That is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be uncovering the facts as it is and let the chips fall where they may.
You know, this caller,
making judgment calls on your own.
You know, caller,
what to report.
the St. Jude's Hospital, which is supposed to be a great project because it's based on the help of all of St. Lucia. You have never heard any one of the media houses going inside and finding out what is happening, what is going to be placed there. What about the helicopter pad? Nothing. Nothing,
because it's going to paint the government
in a good way.
In a good way. If they get something good there. If they hear something bad, like I heard somebody took some picture of some water dripping. I mean, you under construction, you expect that there will be no place that is dripping.
$1 billion under construction. My goodness.
And then there was another point you all were making concerning Guy Joseph and the Labour Party not recognizing the gem.
Yeah.
Something. Guy Joseph cannot survive in the Labour Party.
Okay, I believe you.
Cannot. No good person who has the free thinking.
Yes.
Can survive.
And you are so right, because I remember him telling Mr. Timothy Mangal right here a few Mondays ago that he would not be able to survive, and he said he told that to Tim. Because Tim came to him and said to him that he's running against him for the Labour Party because these guys have been buddies. He told him he will not be able to survive under the Labour Party, and so said...
But Mr. Josie has been saying that he learned the hard way.
That's right.
He took a lot longer before he came to the realization that where he was there was a poison.
It was a poison.
He could not survive in there.
My goodness.
Brother George, with all his bad name and whatever, couldn't survive in there.
You're telling me there's an adjournment?
Independent thinking, there's no way you can, because these guys, what I have realized, and this is the main reason that I find it very difficult to understand the policies of the
SLP, For adjournments.
Once you see you have anything counter the way they think, immediately they start lashing out at you. They attack you personally. If you shot, they tell you, boy, you shot her. Who you think you? And these are the kind of things. That's the impression I get each time I listen to those people. That they ridicule you. They don't give you a chance.
No. Look at the Honorable Dominic Fede, a brilliant guy, well-spoken, well-educated, and they couldn't find anything on him, but they call him Small. How they call him? What name they gave him? Whatever it is. Whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Cocolorum.
You know, can you believe it?
That's what it is. You know, he went to look for a high-educated word. Such a word, and he came to put it on the map. But anyway, these are just petty things, and that's the thing about what I find.
Anyway, caller, we will, all the name callings will come to an end soon. Trust me on that.
I tell you, I think so too.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Have a call from St. Croix. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Champagne.
I'm to you, my brother Gain. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm okay. And good morning to all the St. Lucian people. Champagne,
yes, sir.
I have something to talk about. I notice our people, they keep on saying about white people. And they don't like our Prime Minister because he's white. I don't know where our people, if they don't realize where we are getting our daily bread from.
Well, not all of our people, just a small number of the Labour Party people.
Well, I use the word we, which means I include myself, right? That does not mean to say I'm like some of them, or you are like some of them.
Yeah, but it's not all of us. Yeah, okay.
Now, Champagne, whilst the people are thinking this way about the white people, do you remember there was a time campaign was very hot in St. Lucia, and the Labour Party brought up a white woman from England.
Oh yes, that was. I think they have done that on numerous occasions. They did it in 2011. I think they did it in 2016. They brought a guy down to talk about some hotel that was supposed to be built somewhere, and that was a hotel in Canries. I remember that. You're right.
Okay. Now, look, I've been hearing a lot of talk about the ambassador woman that came to St. Lucia last week.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of talk about her because election is approaching and the government brought it in and blah, 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 blah.
These guys cannot touch that. They cannot touch that.
That lady has a job to do, and she came there to do it. You see? But the past government paid somebody's fare from England to St. Lucia to go on platform to you talk about bananas.
The Labour Party they cannot touch the embassy, they cannot touch the ambassador, they cannot touch no one. These people are just talking. There's nothing they could do about what happened with the ambassador. And even if they talk nonsense about the ambassador is trying to support the United Workers' Party, it's a lot of nonsense. Now let me say to you, Brother Gaines, I would like to engage you, but I have the Prime Minister in the chair, so you will have to come here a little later, okay?
Oh, tell the PM I said good morning.
All right, my brother. Beautiful. He's right there. Have a good day. All right. Yeah. Mr. Prime Minister, you always do this to me. Give me this type of surprise visits, but you know I'm loving it.
Well, you gave me stones to hold yesterday. Apparently, I came 5 minutes after you left. You know,
yes,
after I always hear you, I always have to come out and spend some time with you.
No, but called me, and by the time he called me, I was already heading down. How are you, sir?
I understand why you're heading down. You know, the amount of traffic that we have at the airport these days. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doesn't matter.
Well, I have to make up for all the year and a half we lost.
Correct.
With the coronavirus, and I must give you the bell for staying the course. And we have said that before, while everyone said shut it down, you were thinking differently, and that was so nice. And everyone now is reaping the benefits. We're not there yet. We're not 100%. At least we made some ground. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. You know, we just came from a press conference.
Yes.
To announce the arrival of Millennium cruise ship, Royal Caribbean.
Oh wow!
Which will be coming into port on Tuesday. So we're very excited to see that ship coming in, but also what that ship represents. Because you've spoken about how some persons have suffered really for the last year and a half. Our vendors, our taxi drivers, really have taken it very hard because there's been no substitute. So it's not to say that those vendors could have sold to the local market or there was anybody else for them to sell to. They've really been impacted severely. And so I think for them, hopefully this ship starts saying that this business is going to come back. And certainly what we're seeing with the cruise and the land stay vacationers, from the month of January until April, we had 43,000 tourist arrivals, which means the number of hotels that have been opened, the staff that have been rehired, the taxi drivers who have been benefiting, the farmers who have been benefiting. And what's interesting is that 43,000 is that St. Lucia by itself had more arrivals than the rest of the OECS put together.
That deserves the bell. That deserves the bell.
So again, while it's not back where we were, we're way ahead of everyone else. And in the month of May, we had 14,400 tourist arrivals. We're expecting that number to be almost 18,000 or more in the month of June.
I think it will be more.
Because you're there at the airport.
I'm there, you can see it all the time.
Almost, I don't think we've had a day less than 700 people.
Exactly.
We've had, I think on a Saturday, we've had as many as 1,200 persons. And you remember that this recovery is only with the U.S. market. The Canadian market and the U.K. market and the Caribbean has remained literally shut down.
Yeah.
I was speaking to some of the hoteliers. They're having the best summer in their history.
Right now.
And that's just with the U.S. market. There's one major hotelier on the island. They own a lot of hotels. And they were indicating that by October, they would expect that all of the inventory for 2022 would already be sold out. Right?
That is big.
That's the level of demand and recovery. And I think that St. Lucia, all of y'all need to take a bow. Because while there may be some persons that have fought the government on our policies, the vast majority of you have not. And we have learned to coexist with COVID. Today, our curfew goes to 11 o'clock. Bus drivers are back to 3 people on a seat. And I want to say to my bus drivers that this government has really recognized the sacrifice you've made. You would have probably noticed that the price of fuel internationally has gone from $30, $40 to now $73.
Yes, I saw that, yes.
So it means that, and the price at the pump has not gone up to reflect that. So instead of collecting $4 in tax, the government has only been collecting $2.50.
And Mr. Prime Minister, you do that to accommodate what? Because this is important.
We understood the limitation on the minibus drivers in terms of the number of passengers.
Yes.
And therefore keeping the price of fuel at a certain level so not to affect them. I mean, certainly if in fact that we would have allowed the fuel prices to go to market value, we would be over $16 a gallon.
Right.
Right. And so therefore we know that the impact that would have on the minibus drivers and potentially would have an impact on the passengers.
Yes.
And we can't afford that right now. So the government, absorbs that loss in order to adjust itself. And I think that all through COVID, government has continually done many things which people don't see on a day-to-day basis, right? And it's amazing to me, Champagne, that even now when persons say, "Oh well, where did the money go?" And and I keep on saying to them, the government lost $500 million in revenue.
Yes.
And where was that? $250 million drop in tax revenue. So when we came into government, we were collecting around $70 million a month in VAT, income tax, and personal income tax, collectively. And by 2019, with the policies that this government had implemented, that tax revenue now was up to $105 million.
That is big. That is
okay. And for last year, we averaged a little bit less than $60 million. So accumulatively, we had $250 million less in tax revenue than we had budgeted for.
Yes.
Then the next thing was you had our bonds. And again, it's very difficult for persons to understand the situation with bonds. The government had $900 million in bonds that were due. Normally, 100% of those bonds get rolled over, meaning the persons who have the bonds for 1 year decide to continue it for another year.
Yes.
But what happened because of COVID, persons needed their money. And when they needed their money, they redeemed their bonds.
Okay.
They asked for the bonds to be converted into cash.
Yes.
So there was $190 million that the government had to pay back. And then you had increased cost for COVID. So altogether, there was a $500 million shortfall. The monies that we borrowed were about $300 million. So there was a $200 million shortfall from cash.
Yes, that's right.
Where did that money come from? That money came from going to the banks and getting higher overdrafts. And it came to what I've said to everybody, payables. So remember, all of the expenses of government, $43 million a month in payroll. Every single month, not one civil servant had to look for their money.
That money had to be maintained.
And that was part of our stimulus.
Yes.
Maintaining the salaries.
Yes.
$30 million a month in debt payments. We made them all. We never defaulted once on any of our payments.
How was that able to happen?
And then $15 million a month in additional COVID expenses, and $15 million a month that we had to pay in bonds. And we met all of those things. Meanwhile, the hospitals were open. We ran the respiratory centers, overtime for persons, additional fuel for the policemen going around on the boats and the cars. All of these things were being met.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, somebody listening to that, and I remember you have said it, not just this program. So you have a shortfall of $200 million, but you were able to maintain all of your debt, your expenditure. How is that? How was that able to happen? How did you do it?
Prudent management, and having to make very difficult decisions.
Yes.
And that's why, the intervention by NIC for the income support of $80 million, the income support that we did ourselves in excess of $12 million, the food feeding programs that we did. And here's what's very important, and I think that you would bear me out on this, Champagne. Every single speech I gave, I said the same thing. I think it became a household term. We need to be each other's brothers keeper.
That's right.
And I said that if you see your neighbor suffering,
yes, you did say that.
Please help.
You said that all the time.
Because the state by itself did not have all the means. And I want to thank the churches, I want to thank the Red Cross, I want to thank all of the organizations that are there. Every single person played a part. So it's only persons who are being mischievous who want to suggest that this government didn't care. This government not only cared, had to show that it cared in very difficult financial situation, and in one in which we did not fall flat on our own obligations. We met our salary obligations, we met our pension obligations, we met our debt obligations, we met the cost of running government, and as I said to you, in the month of March, look what happened to us. I mean, coming out of that Christmas period when the cases went up and the economy got shut down, not entirely, but a lot part of it, the small bars and the small shops in the community areas, because of the protocols that we had put in place, government's revenue dropped to $40 million.
Yeah.
$40 million is not even enough to cover salaries.
It's not.
Okay, and the payables went to $140 million, and it's a double whammy. So the same way somebody doesn't get paid their salary and don't have the money to spend, when you provide a service to the government and you don't get paid, that's money you didn't have to spend.
Right.
And so that was causing a further contraction. But we're now getting out of that. We're seeing this recovery, and solutions need to applaud themselves because we did it as a team.
We did.
Okay, everybody, not everybody, but I would say to you, the vast majority of solutions understood and have adhered. And I want to thank the CMO. I want to thank the police officers. I want to thank customs. I want to thank the emergency workers. All these persons, all the security people, the people working in retail and wholesale who kept this country going. Lucelec, Wasco, all of you, right? It took all of us together to be where we are today, and we're now seeing the fruits of our labor in that our economy is opening back up, people are going back to work, and do not take this for granted. This is not what is taking place in the rest of the world.
Yes.
If you just look here at the Caribbean, at the number of countries that have remained shut down, and there are some countries in the Caribbean in which you can't even get takeout food, right? And so I'm not saying to us that in any way that we're bragging, but the reality is we can boast that the policies of the government and the participation of the general public, the combination of those things has really done an amazing job. And
we need to ring the bell on that, Mr. Prime Minister. I wanted to go somewhere, but we have the Minister of Tourism here with us as well.
Two for the price of one.
Two for the price of one. How you call it? Remember the campaign of Deuce Ball?
Yeah.
We have a Deuce Ball this morning, St. Lucia, and we have the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Dominic Fidel. And we just heard some great news from the Prime Minister in regards to we have a cruise ship coming in on Tuesday. You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Before I go there, I think the Prime Minister has just demonstrated exceptional leadership at every turn of the pandemic and the most difficult time that we've been through in the last year and a half or so.
Indeed.
And even today with the cruise lines arriving, I mean, I must say publicly that all of the credit belongs to him because he was the one who was there at the forefront making sure that not just St. Lucia but the Caribbean was ready for this kind of opening. When it came to reopening the industry on the land-based side, the OECS tourism ministers and CARICOM as well actually appointed the Prime Minister to lead the Caribbean's opening efforts. So he wasn't just leading St. Lucia through a difficult time, he was also leading the region through a difficult time. But, I mean, pre-COVID, he hasn't given himself enough credit for the work that he has done in managing this economy.
He doesn't brag.
We took over this economy, Champagne, where Kenny Anthony couldn't grow the economy.
It was comatose.
Where businesses were closing, people were losing jobs, taxes were high,
with
the
no
debt
COVID,
levels were with no COVID in the best of times. The Prime Minister, the people of St. Lucia saw that they really needed true better days, and not the fake better days that were promised by the Labour Party in the 2011 election. And so in appointing the UWP, what did you see? I mean, if you check our record, it's about 2.5% average growth in our first couple of years, in our first 4 years of managing this economy. The debt went down. We were starting to
3% growth.
3% growth average. We were starting to, jobs came back. Unemployment went down to as low as 16.8%. When we took it over, it was 24%. Youth unemployment. 1 in almost 2 young persons in this country was unemployed. And I can tell you, in my constituency, I mean, when I came in, there were all of a sudden, we were able to connect people with a lot of tourism jobs, getting people employed with various hotels and various businesses. We have people down in the call center in Viewfort. Even though our constituency is far, we help them to get transportation so that they can go as well. So we have a lot at stake. And I want to say that this election is the most important election in our history. So today, really, with the cruise lines coming back, is just another indication and a demonstration and a fine example of what a tremendous leader
indeed,
that I've been working with for the last 5 years.
Now, I don't know if you have the answers to my next question, because for the taxi drivers that have not worked at Ubers, Point Surfing and La Place Cainas, would you know the arrangements for the cruise passengers? If you know any about it, how would they be moving about?
Well, the first thing that struck me this morning, PM, was while I was going through Point Surfing, the place was a ghost town. And you saw that for yourself. All the shops are closed.
Wow.
There's no business. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Other than the construction site getting ready.
Other than the construction site.
Let me in on it. Which construction? The hotel?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the construction of the Marriott Courtyard is already underway. In fact, all the equipment is being mobilized. It's been being mobilized for the last 6 weeks. So I think that construction, the piling starts next week.
That is big news. And Sanusha, you heard it first on Sky FM. I want to come back to you. How are we going with this hotel? Because there's not a lot of space there. Is it a high-rise hotel?
Yes, I think it's six floors.
Okay.
It's a Marriott Courtyard with conference facilities, and it'll be part of the marina.
Okay.
And it's phase one of the redevelopment of Point Seraphin.
Oh, wow.
So the hotel will come in first. The second phase is then the demolition of the existing buildings, new shops, and also 2 floors of office space. So the fact is that Point Seraphin needs to be utilized more than just for cruise ships.
Yes, I agree. All right, back to you, Mr. Minister, because the taxi drivers, I know they're itching to hear what the operations is going to feel like or look like. You have any information on that?
Well, they've been working very closely with my ministry, working with the Ministry of Health. I noticed that one of the buildings we were putting up there was the environmental health building, which will help everybody through the process and give them guidance to make sure that they are ready. Most of the people that are coming on the vessel, except for 10 children, there are about 410 people on the ship. All of them are going to be vaccinated. So this will be easy pickings, more or less. The risk is
So this is really the continuation of your program, though.
Correct.
I mean, you've been certifying the taxis who've been picking up people at the airport.
Yes.
And I believe the same thing will be taking place. So persons who are certified will now be allowed to go on their tours and take people to different parts of the island. Because remember, they're vaccinated.
Yes.
So like our policy right now, vaccinated persons can be in the island without being quarantined.
Right, yes.
Correct.
So the taxi driver himself, driving around those passengers, will have to be vaccinated. Is that a fact or no?
No, he doesn't have to be vaccinated.
He doesn't have to be vaccinated?
No, he just needs to be COVID certified. So it's a
training. He has to go
he
through
does
the
a
process.
workshop that he goes through a process. He's trained as to how to handle potentially COVID positive cases.
But ideally, please get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. I agree.
Makes life much simpler.
Yes.
Because it's that layer of protection that helps everyone. And and certainly the ship that's coming in right now is home porting out of St. Martin.
Yes.
So all the persons not only are vaccinated but are PCR tested before they get into St. Martin. And so the protocols that Dominique was alluding to, we agreed that once a ship came in, the itinerary, if it's 4 islands, would be the equivalent of 1 destination.
Right.
So it's not like different protocols for each one of the islands. There would be one
just
harmonized protocol system. And we're very happy that there's a big skirmish that's taking place now in Florida for the ships that come out of Florida. The governor there has indicated that he wants, he's not going to allow the ships to discriminate. Meaning the ships wanted to make sure that everybody who came on the ship was vaccinated.
Okay.
Because it certainly makes life much more complicated and difficult when you have a mixture of vaccinated and non-vaccinated persons.
Yeah.
So coming down the road, the idea would be that if you're going to come in and you're not vaccinated, the tours that you can go to would be limited to the ones that we have that are COVID certified.
That's correct.
Eventually, the idea is if everybody was vaccinated, that persons could now go back to the Castries market and fully integrate into our economy. Again, I want to really thank the governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands and the other prime ministers of the OECS and also the U.S. administration. We're working very hard with them to try to encourage the governor of Florida to understand, until we're all fully vaccinated down here, that to allow the ships to have vaccinated personnel.
Would you know whether or not it's just St. Martin and St. Lucia that are accepting cruise ships now, or you don't know that?
We have Barbados is, Dominica is, St. Martin is, the U.S. Virgin Islands. But again, we need several destinations to make an itinerary.
Right.
And again, we were really ahead of the game because of what was taking place with the CDC. Now that the CDC is opened up and the U.S. government is allowing U.S. citizens who've been vaccinated back into the U.S. without going into quarantine, there's a huge burst in business.
Yeah.
So the Alaska tour and other tours coming out of the U.S. and into Mexico, it's going to boom. But we're very happy that we're one of the first to be involved in this. We think Tuesday is going to be a big day in terms of really, ringing the bell. And
yes, I have to ring the bell. And I have to look out for that.
You can ring the bell. I have to be very careful when I ring the bell.
Well, it's a good time to call. It's a good time to shout out to ring the bell.
Oh, yes, in New York. He's going to call in tonight. You've been heading the command center, Mr. Minister, and the lift we have gotten from last night with going up to 11 o'clock until 4. Is that as a result of things are looking much better?
Much better. If you look at the number of cases, they're going down significantly. Yes. The rate of vaccinations are going up. Mm-hmm. When we also look at the positivity rate, the number of tests versus the number of positive cases you would get as a ratio, that's gone down below 5. It's now 3%. Oh, so it's actually 40% below where the World Health Organization has said that you need to be. So if you're below 5% in your positivity rate, then you can begin to lax a little bit. So it's clearly informed by the data that we're seeing. And I think it's really, we're really happy with where the country is with the management of COVID. But what it does, it allows us.
The
it's a big news. They take 3 people per.
Very happy.
Go ahead, Prime Minister.
No, I mean, and what your team has done in guiding us through all this is tough. These are hours and hours and hours. I think people sometimes don't have the appreciation of how much effort is being put in by everyone to manage these protocols, come up with these new protocols, and make those very difficult decisions to go to the next step. So again, we were managing the 9 o'clock extremely well, and I think that the minister and his team have recommended that we go to 11 o'clock. So it frees up the economy a little bit more. But again, to every single St. Lucian, I say to you, if you've not been vaccinated, please become vaccinated and continue to practice the protocols. We still have COVID here. The Delta variant isn't here in St. Lucia that we know, but it's in the region.
Yes.
And again, so we must be on guard. Do not let your guard down.
Yes. Now, I would not have you, Mr. Prime Minister, if we wouldn't talk about that great news from last week regarding the Leahy law. And St. Lucians are really pleased because Dr. Anthony couldn't do it. And there's a lot of talk that you had this arrangement because of elections, all kinds of nonsense. But Honorable Guy Joseph said on Monday evening that 2 or 3 years ago, he attended meetings with you in Washington in trying to have this thing resolved. And we finally had at least some form of a, lift.
So first of all, there are many countries or other countries around the world that also have Leahy on them.
Yes.
To get Leahy off of you is a very difficult task. And Minister Joseph is 100% correct. This process started literally the first week in office.
First week?
First week.
2016?
2016. Went over to Barbados to meet with the authorities and to outline what our strategy was going to be. And that strategy was the appointment of a DPP, making resources available to the DPP, explaining that we have rule of law in St. Lucia. Whether they like it or not, there was a coroner's inquest. If they are not satisfied of the quality of the coroner's inquest, then we said to them, invest in St. Lucia and help us raise the level for everyone.
Yeah.
But we were not in a position to discriminate, and only because of these cases and their concerns that we would apply resources only for them, because we had several cases that had remained pending under the same circumstances. So we had to protect the rights of St. Lucians, understand the law had spoken through the coroner's inquest, and as egregious as they thought that the situation was, asking for conviction is not something that my government or any government in St. Lucia can guarantee. We can prosecute, and the person who makes the determination as to whether we prosecute is the DPP.
Yeah.
And the DPP has to be satisfied that there's evidence sufficient to prosecute, meaning to bring charges and to go to court.
Yeah.
It's only the court that can make a decision on conviction. So you have to have enough evidence to cause the courts to convict. And that's outside of our control. So with the Leahy was really to work very hard with the U.S. government in a very respectful manner, because I have a tremendous amount of respect. I understand what they were saying. But at the same time, to show that we were making more than just good effort, we were making great effort in resolving this issue. And so the decision that was announced last week really is evidence that the U.S. government is satisfied with the progress that this government has been making under Leahy, and that the recommendations that were made to strengthen our investigations, to strengthen the administration of police, those were implemented to prevent that from happening in the future. The strengthening of the DPPs and the effort the DPP's office is making. Now, again, I am not privy to what the DPP has found. All I can do is provide resources to the DPP to do so.
Yeah.
But the U.S. is satisfied that St. Lucia has made tremendous strides. And as I said at the meeting, the thing that I am the most proud of is we did not use the Leahy as an excuse not to continue to develop our police force.
Yeah.
Okay? We got the forensic lab up and running ourselves.
Yes.
We got the boats up running ourselves.
Yes.
Okay? We were able to improve the quality of the police stations, improve the quality of investigation. Over 91 promotions were made, and all these acting positions, more training, got ballistics for them. Even in absence of the U.S. participating, so we've been working with the Canadians and the British and the Taiwanese. They love the idea of creating the border control.
Yes.
To go with the rest of it, there's a coordinated effort. And St. Lucia, while we are not been privy to the training under the U.S., we have actively participated in the security of this region. And I think that they themselves are very impressed that we've done this on ourselves. And so this is a huge milestone that is not to be underestimated in any way as to what we've achieved. And this government's policy towards our Western allies, Canada, the UK, Europe, and the US, we take it very seriously. And I know that they know that they can rely on this government to be supportive. These are the countries where our diaspora is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are the countries that our future is tied to from an economic perspective. Certainly, we will not do anything unprincipled. So, for instance, if you take the Venezuela situation, we were not one of those countries who recognized Guaido, but we certainly agreed that the situation in Venezuela warranted pressure because there cannot be any interference of the opposition. And we took a very strong stance, and we were part of the Lima group because we felt strong enough to be part of that group. And we have voted many times in support of the sanctions against Venezuela at the OAS meetings. But we always backed it up with evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were not emotional decisions. And I think over the last 4-year campaign, Canada, the US, the UK, and Europe in particular have really appreciated St. Lucia's support. And we have been in sync with many of the CARICOM countries because we take our CARICOM participation very seriously. So we try not to stand outside of the group and to arbitrate and discuss as a group. And I have some colleagues that are on a political divide, meaning socialism, centrist, or conservative, that we are different, but at the same time, we try to find the common position that protects all of us here in the Caribbean. We believe by being united gives us more strength, and St. Lucia certainly adhere to that.
I remember you were some of the Caribbean islands were not pleased when you were invited to Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. You remember a lot of talk came out from some leaders out there in the Caribbean.
Well, you know what's funny is that when those countries were invited in the past, they didn't have any problems at all. So the reality is that the U.S. president invites you to a meeting, and it's one of our biggest trading partners, I'll be there.
Of course.
And the reality is the persons who were invited, because CARICOM itself was not taking a position on Venezuela, that the U.S. invited the countries that shared a common principle on that issue. And we use that as an advantage. But I want to say that all of the prime ministers from the CARICOM that attended that meeting reminded the president of our unity within CARICOM, and that it's not about helping one, but it's about helping all.
Would you say, Mr. Prime Minister, the constant negotiations between the U.S. was the reason why we were able to have that delay law eased on us just a little bit?
It wasn't just negotiations, it was action.
Okay.
You know, it goes back to my song. Action speaks louder.
We have to ring the bell.
And this is a government of action.
Yes,
and
sir.
this is a government that is consistent.
Yes.
You may not always want to agree, but there is consistency in what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
And so we have advocated for policy space. We've repeated to our partners, the US, Canada, the UK, we're not interested in handouts. What we're interested is in policy space that allows for us to succeed. So give our tourism advantage, give our trades advantage, help our agro-processing, make it easier for people to go in between our countries. I mean, that's why a big thing would be visa-free.
Yes.
Right? We want to get to that position, and we're advocating for that every single day. But at the same time, we recognize that we need to improve the standard of living in our country to make us less risk, because that's what the decision is based on. We can do this, right? We can build, and we must build a new St. Lucia. I mean, I was just at the Vide Bouteille, a school in which we're now building our second smart school. So we've announced 4 new smart schools in this country, new construction. This is a government that continues to work, and what we're asking for from the people of St. Lucia is to allow us to finish the job.
Yes.
That's what we need, to finish the job that we have started. And despite COVID, despite any of the other problems, we have never made excuses.
Yeah.
And I don't sit here and malpally the opposition. I respect them as individuals.
Yes.
If I malpally anything, it's their policies, of which they have none.
No, exactly.
So it's just like the empty pans they're banging.
That's right.
They have pans but no plans.
Nothing in there.
Nothing.
Nothing in the pans. And it's like an unfinished home. You can't live in an unfinished home. If you don't have a roof, there's no way you could sleep in there.
We're appealing to St. Lucians, and we believe that we've put a great case. We've got a great team.
Yes.
I have some of the most fantastic ministers. I mean, I listen, I just laugh at some of the suspicions that are being generated. I mean, I listen to Sean. He has a secret, but he's sharing the secret.
Yes, yes.
Really?
Yes,
what kind of secret is that?
That's not a secret. And I had a call this morning, and I must share that with you. Not that I didn't want to go down that road. They say your famous program, the Alan Shastney Show on a Thursday night.
Yes.
Someone called me. I don't watch it, but someone called me this morning because you know my people, and they said that your members of cabinet were so outrageous with you this week that you're not calling elections, and half of your cabinet members were so upset about you not calling elections, and that came out on his program last night. So I don't want to.
So as a member of the
that.
cabinet, I'm qualified to address that.
Exactly.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely.
That is what I keep saying. I've had almost all the members of cabinet say, and the way they speak about the prime minister, I'm trying to figure out where is that coming from.
Absolutely
ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
The opposition, when they were in government, the Constitution gives the Prime Minister the prerogative of when they want to call the election.
Yes.
And the Constitution gives you guidelines. So I saw an article in which they talked about convention, and then in the same article talked about constitution. If you have a written law, which is what the Constitution is, then there is no convention.
Okay.
Okay? Convention is only when there is no written law. So this is traditionally, that's what convention is. This is what traditionally we do.
Something you do all the time.
Okay? So if in fact the former prime minister used his prerogative and called the elections early, that is his prerogative. If I choose to call the elections later, but within the Constitution, that is my prerogative.
Exactly.
So let me share something with you.
Yeah.
You have the opposition again as a policy. So I'm not criticizing them personally. As a policy, what is their slogan? Putting people first, which we don't believe. We think it's putting politics first, right? When does school end?
And that's them, when you say we.
So when does school end? July 9th. In this particular year, unlike what they did and they called elections with CXCs, this government is not going to do that. Let the children finish their school.
That's right.
They've been robbed so much for the pandemic
exactly.
already. I mean, look how much time they have lost, and still they are not getting enough face-to-face time.
Yes.
So you
I
want,
mean, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, the other week.
Right.
It really is half the time. So
and if you
the
have
average child is getting 2.5 weeks. So because of politics,
yes,
we can't just go and just disrupt someone's education.
And remember this, because of
very,
COVID,
very tough.
and because of COVID, the schools that we would be using for the elections, which we do use schools,
yes,
we would have to shut the school down for a week.
Exactly.
So you would have to go in and sanitize the school from the kids, then have elections, and after the elections, then sanitize the school again before you. So it's going to take you a week.
Yes.
Come on, that makes sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so I want solutions to know we will have elections. Okay, I continues to say that it will be soon. Yes. Because relative to 5 years, whatever time is remaining would be very soon.
Very soon.
And the appropriate time will be made that is in the best interest of this country. In terms of my confidence about the elections, I believe, honestly, that this government has performed.
Yes.
I believe that most solutions genuinely believe that we should be given an opportunity to finish the job. Mm-hmm. I do not believe that many solutions understand what is the proposition that the Labour Party is offering. And that's why we say it's the same old Labour.
Yes.
It's not any new leadership, it's the same leadership. There's no new ideas, and we know that those ideas have been tested. It was tested between 1997 and 2006. Failed. Mm-hmm. They came back in 2011 to 2016, and they failed again. Mm-hmm. What has changed? It's the same old Labour.
Yes.
And I genuinely believe that solutions will allow the United Workers' Party, under my leadership, to finish the job. And that's why we say, let's keep working.
Let's keep working. That's the slogan. Mr. Minister, we have to leave? Okay.
I have to leave,
okay.
But I want to thank you very, very much for everything. I want to thank Solutions. There is even more good news that's coming. Leahy was, do not let anybody undermine or underestimate the importance of what happened on Friday.
Okay.
And the achievement and the work that went in to make that happen.
Yes.
To get this cruise ship to come in on Sunday, to have record...
Sunday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Mm.
To have the record tourism arrivals that we have. And what are all these numbers about? People.
Yes.
People getting back to work. Right?
That's right.
And that's the most important thing. And you're starting to see the smiles on people's faces. And that we have, for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, been able to stabilize the country. And I think there'll be an announcement next week from an independent economic source that will say that this government has stabilized the economy and the outlook is stable.
Yes,
and
sir.
so all of this nonsense that's going on about debt and this and that and blah, 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 every government borrows money. It's whether, in fact, you're borrowing responsibly and you have the capacity to be able to pay down on your debt. And this country, this government has shown in the worst of times with COVID, we have not once reneged on that obligation to any of our debtors. And I even believe that they themselves have recognized that. And that's why now people are buying our bonds. We're seeing now more turnover.
Yes.
These are the positive messages. And the Labour Party continues to try to plant seeds of doubt.
Yes.
And I'm saying to Solutions, you elected us on faith. Faith sometimes is, well, faith is something that you cannot see. We have shown through our deeds that your faith is well placed. Let us finish the job.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. And I know you have to leave as well, Mr. Minister, but I just wanted to get involved with
If I can just say one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, I don't know if you got a chance to see the forum.
Oh, beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful.
And, you know, with Fortuna and Sarah and Farah, amazing job. But I want to particularly highlight Sarah, you know, a very accomplished politician. The courage that it's taken for her to introduce this synergy program.
Yes.
Okay? Because it would be very easy to go into the constituency and think that what was going on small contracts and just giving people money was the way to win the seat. And Sarah made the tough decision to develop a synergy program to really change the mindsets of persons. And she's midstream.
Yeah.
That's always the tough part, right?
Yes.
Where maybe there's not enough people who have benefited, but hopefully that people who have not benefited can see what that opportunity is.
Going, yeah.
And Sarah has been dealing with something that we strongly believe in United Workers' Party, empowerment.
That's right.
Okay? And giving people dignity. And giving people not just a second and a third and a fourth chance. So these halfway homes that she's developed for women and for men, the programs that she's doing in education, the programs that she's helping people with small businesses, this matters.
It does.
Okay? And Sarah could have come in and said, you know what? This is about me. Let me just get reelected in the traditional way.
No.
And I really want to applaud her, and I really hope that the persons in Castries Central will sit down for a moment and really analyze what she said last night and appreciate what she's doing with the city. It's not about her. It's not about her. Okay, it's about helping people, the young men who could never even have thought of going into farming and was able to get some space in your constituency in Roseau.
Especially from the city.
From
Guys
the city.
never dreamt of getting involved in farming.
What she did with the guys with the car wash, giving them proper facilities because they were making makeshift stuff. And I know it's tough. I know it's difficult for persons to have confidence and faith in this new way. But earning your own money, the ching 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 we're speaking about, is your ching ching ching.
That's right.
In which you owe nothing to anybody else, and you can now build dignity and self-esteem. And I want to say I'm so proud of Sister Sarah and the program, and anybody who goes down and sees the programs. I mean, the organization of her office. You know, she has clothes. That if you have to go to a church service and you don't have clothes, she has clothes there that she lends you to be able to go and do that. Right? That's the level of thought that's going in. And you know, sadly, the media and everybody else does not want to highlight that. They want to highlight the more sensational part of the whole thing. You know, she and I had a really good opportunity to meet with the people in her constituency. And we were very frank. You know, if you think of where you live as being a ghetto, then it will be a ghetto.
That's right, it's true.
The first thing you have to do is get out of the mindset.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And the development of Castries eventually will now come to you, in which you will be able to participate. But if Castries is not doing its job, then you, as a suburb, are not going to be able to benefit. So,
Mr. Prime Minister,
your constituency is a classic example.
Goodness. Yeah, I'm holding you to what you said a few weeks ago. I'm not going to say it on air. But my pride and joy, before you leave, my tunnel under the Badlil, we still...
Absolutely.
Are we looking
But
at
it's a must, because the fact is we have a couple of offers that we're looking at. This is not a pie in the sky.
Yes.
We must put in a road network that can deal with the amount of commercial traffic. The big container trucks, the materials, staff, provisioning, and to be able to connect the north and the south and the east and the west much more efficiently. So the new West Coast Road that's going in, we're starting with the Millennium Highway. The second part is to the Ancillary Bridge, and then Ancillary Bridge to Columbet.
A double bridge you must highlight for the people of Ancillary listening.
Double bridge.
A double lane bridge.
Double lane bridge,
Right?
all right.
And then you're talking about the tunnel to Bardlil to Dennery, and then the new highway going up from Dennery to Darren Sammy Stadium. This is going to transform St. Lucia, taking the airport from 400,000 passengers to the capacity of 1.2 million passengers. Right? We already were at 400,000.
Yeah, of course.
How are you going to grow any more?
Yeah.
Right? And we're now seeing that tourism doesn't displace agriculture; it makes agriculture stronger. Tourism doesn't displace manufacturing, it makes manufacturing stronger. It doesn't displace the creative industry, it makes the creative industry stronger. It doesn't displace financial services, it makes financial services stronger. And so this argument that the Labour Party continues to perpetuate, only when they're in opposition, to try to make out that tourism is a foreign industry. And you know, Sir John used to say it very well. He would whisper to me, he said, when we had a new investor, he said, once he builds that hotel, boss, can't take it away.
Yeah, that's right.
He said, where he may be on a piece of paper, it belongs to him, but it belongs to St. Lucia. Can't go anywhere.
Can't take it
and so
out.
why are we not doing more to encourage people to be able to come down here? And that should not be at the expense of people. You know, there's a great example, Kassenbach. This government, the cabinet, had made a decision a couple of weeks ago to dedicate 4 acres of land at Castlebar as a reserve. And I know that the minister, the representative from that area, will be saying more about it.
Yes.
And not only making it a reserve, but putting the facilities in, the infrastructure, the parking, the washrooms, and all the recreational facilities. So exactly what we did at Hummingbird Beach. Every single beach needs it. What Stephenson King did at VG,
Yeah.
right? What Dominic is now doing on his own beaches, what he's doing on his waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
Integrate the facilities so locals and tourists alike can coexist, and that it's economically beneficial to everyone. At the same time, preserving the environment.
Yeah.
That is what we're attempting to do.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of what we're achieving. The new Tea Village in Gros-Islet, which we want to now emulate right around the island.
Correct.
The village tourism that the minister is spearheading. The change that we've made in tourism with the Tourism Council, so that ministries that don't see themselves as being part of tourism now can be part of tourism. What we're doing in agriculture. The bananas. Agro-processing. The 7 crops. It is a remarkable, every single sector in this economy that you've seen our input in. And what are we asking solutions? Let us finish
the job. That's
please.
Right.
And let us now keep working.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. And I know you have to attend several meetings. I asked your dad where you get all that energy from, and he said it's when you guys were kids, he took you all around the world.
Yeah.
Mr. Minister,
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear the news, and not just because I'm not a taxi driver, because it is because I'm a St. Lucian. And I have said on this program several times that these guys at Point Surfing and La Place Carénage has not worked in almost a year and a half.
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
That's enough to send anyone bankrupt. And don't forget the moratoriums in the bank when we started out the pandemic was for about 6 months or so.
Right.
Some people went to their banks and got their banks to extend those moratoriums, but those moratoriums have now run out.
Yes.
And a lot of people are on the brink of being bankrupt.
Yes, right.
And so something must be done. Bills are piling up every day.
Yes, sir.
Because you see, we're talking to people. And so what we're doing is inspired by people. What we're doing is trying to make every St. Lucian part of what we're doing. And so I'm very, very happy, not just for taxi drivers, but think of the morning lay-by vendors.
Exactly.
Think of the craft vendors in the market. Think of the vendors in the vendors arcade.
Yeah.
Think of the duty-free workers at Point Surfing. We passed through the facility, and it was an absolute ghost town. All the shops are completely shut down. Now, I went to do a bit of Christmas shopping at Point Surfing to find some gifts.
Christmas shopping
No,
in
that
June.
was back in December.
Oh, back then, okay.
And the staff at some of the facilities explained to me that some of them were getting a day of work, 2 days of work, or maybe they were not working at all. And so it was very, very difficult. And what they were making wasn't enough to be able to pay their bills. And that was the reality. And so when we're having these discussions, we must understand that there are a lot of people who are bleeding presently and who really, really need us to progress and to move ahead with the reopening of our economy. So I'm extremely thrilled to see
all of us
that we are now moving a step closer to the full reopening of our economy, and that is with the cruise subsector. We have a lot of dayboat charters. Think of all these small business people that are St. Lucians that own boats.
Yes, sir.
Think of the tour guides at the Soufrière volcano and all the various attractions that are in Soufrière. And, I have a lot of people who benefited from the cruise industry back in the year 2019 when we had that season. We opened up our new beach down at Toulaget in Ancillary. And I'm very, very happy that that's one of the beaches that are now going to welcome visitors from this very first call. So
that's in Conway or Ancillary?
That's in Ancillary.
In Ancillary.
Yeah. Think of, the people at the Sky Rides.
Yes.
I mean, I have people from my constituency that work there as well. And I'm happy that those individuals are going to now return to work because business, they're getting business already from the stayover visitors. But now the cruise ship passengers is just going to be icing on the cake. And so the more business that these businesses get, the more customers, the more trips, and the more tours they're able to do, what's going to happen is we will be in a very good position to be able to get more employees back to work.
You know, I'm directly involved with the tourism industry, and it never occurred to me the amount of people that were affected by the coronavirus.
15,000
That is a
people.
lot of people, you know.
15,000 people. Our guesstimate right now suggests that there are 10,000 that are back. It means
which deserve the bell. Huh?
Which deserves the bell. So we are now 2/3 the way of rebuilding, because how I measure the rebuilding is not based on how well the hotels are doing or how well. That is important and that is key. But what this government does is we look at the workers of this country.
Yes.
What deal they are getting. How can we make it better for them? Because ultimately that is the economy. When there is that trickle down, when you're building the economy from the ground up.
Right.
And that's what our economic philosophy is all about, making sure that St. Lucians are empowered.
Yes,
We have a number of locally owned villas that are opened up. We've opened up 200, and we're processing another 350 at the moment to try to get them reopened. Hundreds, thousands of St. Lucians, they do in the transportation business.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the taxi drivers.
Right.
But you have a lot of St. Lucian nationals who have the H plates.
Right.
In fact, the last count suggested that the H plates are now 4,000, and the taxi drivers are 1,200.
Yeah.
Now, if you just take out the car rentals, which is perhaps about a fleet of 1,000, you have 3,000 vehicles that are registered and are doing tourism transportation.
Yes.
So it's a huge benefit.
It is.
I mean, as I speak, I know of one of my constituents who really, many constituents came to me to get their COVID sticker so that they can begin to carry their passengers.
Yes.
When they didn't have their COVID sticker, it meant that they couldn't travel, they couldn't do any business, and so they were having to cancel tours. Now, every time you see someone who's unable to pay a bill, and that individual is continuing to have bills and they're having to cancel tours, it then makes life extremely difficult for that person to be able to carry on and feed their families. So when you break this down, when you go deep into these numbers and you look at, it's not just a cruise ship, it's not about a cruise ship coming. It's about the very survival of hundreds of our people in St. Lucia who absolutely need us to continue doing so. And so I'm very, very elated and
all of
thrilled.
us are.
You know,
all of us are.
I'll tell you something else, Champagne. This also, it reduces the pressure on any government to have to go back to the NIC to give stimulus support.
Yes.
Because, you see, the NIC was designed really for individuals to have their pension and their social security. Now, if you are having to use a lot of these monies way before your pensionable age, then it really undermines the NIC. And so what we want, why we're happy is that now we are in a great position now to be able to get 10,000 people back to work.
Yes, sir.
And that is critical. That's incredible.
It is.
So now it's really to continue pressing ahead with this economic development, or the economic development strategy that we have started. I mean, the word is on the island is that building materials, the price has gone up. And that is because our policy to ensure that the construction industry keeps pressing forward and acts as a stimulus and as a buffer to this very difficult economic time. So while tourism was down and manufacturing and all the other sectors were affected, we kept pressing ahead with our construction.
That is great vision, huh?
Great vision.
Very, very great vision.
Great economic planning.
Exactly. Not to just roll
and
over and die.
So you look at my constituency now, just in the village of Ancillary, where there's finishing up the health center. We're finishing up the bed and breakfast facility, and the waterfront is now.
I saw that. That is looking
it's
nice.
off the ground floor and it's now on the top floor.
Yes.
We look at what's taking place with the restaurant. The contractor has broken ground and he is starting. The fish fry building, the contractor is about to start the rehab work. And pretty soon we're about to extend the ancillary jetty.
Yes.
There's also the drain around the field. Which has been an eyesore for many, many years and a great source of concern for many residents of Ancillary. Now that drain is being taken care of. And all the other projects that we've been able to complete in my constituency, in Jackmel and in Roseau and in different places, what it does then, it it has just created such economic activity through construction. And in all the other constituencies around St. Lucia.
The jetty, the Ancillary jetty, I realize it's not a short jetty, it really goes out to sea. So what are you guys doing? Extending it further out?
It's very shallow.
Okay.
Where the jetty ends at that point is a very shallow bay.
So you're bringing it out.
So in order to get, the vision is to get the ferries from Martinique to come to Ancillary.
I remember you spoke
and
of
to
that
be
last
able
time.
now to give Ancillary greater access to Martinique.
Yes.
What that does, it then allows Ancillary to become a real tourism destination.
Yeah.
Now, why is Martinique important? Because what we know from the numbers, that you get at least 30,000 visitors from Martinique every single year.
That is a lot.
And so being able to create a better connectivity to the village and our number one regional market is absolutely critical.
Yes. Great stuff. Now, I want to go back to and I don't know how much time you have. I want to go back to the cruise ship passengers. Are they allowed to venture out, like go to the craft markets and stuff like that? Is that okay for them, or are they just going to be on board?
There's specified tourism. I must be honest with you. I haven't been doing a lot of work on this
that,
because I've been very busy in my constituency these days.
Yes.
Doing a lot of consultation, making sure we understand what's taking place. And we're also on the eve of an election.
Of course.
And we're busy trying to sell our vision to the people of St. Lucia. This election is a referendum on who they trust to rebuild this economy, who they trust to repair the damage that was caused by COVID-19 and to take this economy to a next level. We're looking deep into the 21st century. What is the world going to look like, and how will St. Lucia participate in a changing world? This is what this election is all about. When you listen to the other side, you could see, as the PM said before me, they haven't got any plans. They've got a lot of rusty, empty-looking pans,
but nothing in them.
And so, therefore, empty vessels make the most noise. And it's just been a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of bluffing, but no real solution to our problems. I mean, the world is going to change quite a bit come post-COVID-19. And we see that what's happening, more and more countries are looking inward and are working less on taking global positions. And so what we have to do is to make sure that we manage our country effectively, because the global situation is going to be a very volatile one for small countries who don't have the political or economic clout.
Mr. Minister, I want to say thank you very much for the news of us seeing the first cruise ship after almost a year and a half. I think it's going to be a very beautiful sight to see. Not that we have not had cruise ships before, but since we have not had one in almost a year and a half, I am going to take my position on Tuesday, God willing, to make sure I see that cruise ship dock at Point Surfing. Is going to be something. Just before you go, that hotel the Prime Minister spoke of at Point Surfing, what's it called? Courtyard?
Marriott Courtyard.
Marriott Courtyard. What's the impact that's going to create?
It's going to be a huge impact. It's part of the redevelopment of Castries. When you look at our capital, it has gone through very hard times in the last 20 years. And, you have to then come in as a government and say, how do we then transform this capital? How does a capital with a cruise harbor, there's an airport not so far away, and so many other resources, the biggest population center in the country, how do you then reimagine and to have a new vision for it? And so that is really part of the redevelopment of Castries, but also it does then create more economic impact from the vast resources of the harbor. So I think it's going to be fantastic. The last time I saw the designs, the room count was 150. I'm not sure what it is now.
That is a lot of rooms.
150 rooms, if that is the final design, then I think you're going to have significant traction there.
I believe that.
Really it's going to open up so many opportunities for residents of the city, businesses of the city. And, whenever the new investment comes, it creates new spin-offs for business opportunities and for other industries as well, to use that as a springboard from which they can catapult.
Beautiful, my friend. Any last words to St. Lucia?
My last words are, I want to big up my constituents of Ancillary Canaries. We are ready. We are ready to create history in becoming the first political movement in the history of electoral politics in St. Lucia to win the ancillary cannery seat for the UWP government.
For the second time in a row.
For the second time in a row, for the first time in history.
That's right.
We are ready to do it.
Yes,
I mean, the Labour Party came through with a silent march a few weeks ago. And, I mean, they were run out of town.
I heard your people took
with
over.
the flags. I mean, you saw the videos on social media. And so that in itself tells you that there's enthusiasm. We are not at all inspired by what is taking place on the other side. We are enthusiastic, we are organized, and we are ready to go. The numbers are strongly on our side, and we're really looking forward to
we need to go out to vote. We cannot be complacent. We need to go out and vote.
We are going out to vote.
Yes.
We are absolutely going out to vote. I just don't have enough T-shirts because so many people, even Labour Party supporters, want our T-shirts.
Yeah.
Because
ask your good friend Howard.
I mean, flags. Right? We're running out of flags. We're running out of masks.
Yes.
We're running out of bands. Now, that's a great problem to have because, you know, everybody is fired up. Everybody is geared up.
Yes.
In fact, I have to temper my team because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because they want to organize big mass events straight away, and they want to do motorcades. They want to get going. But you have to sort of peg back a little bit and say, well, okay, let's have a small activity instead of a big one because of COVID.
And you know that when we see these things, we have to look at this in a positive light. When people are enthusiastic, people want to get ready, people want to go. Despite COVID, although we have to be very precautious, it tells you that there's an energy. There's a level of enthusiasm. People want to get ready for that
big energy. Yes. Ancillary, we wanted for the first time, the ancillary polling division. First time in history, the last time.
Yes.
And our numbers are showing that we're going to win it again.
That's right.
And we're going to win it bigger than the last time.
I believe that.
And, you know, once you win in ancillary, the Labour Party, as they say in local parlance, Balfini.
Balfini, we'll on sack. All right, Mr. Minister, thanks a lot. You have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, beautiful. All right, great. So I'll just tell that to the minister.
whatever, the time you will give for election will be shorter.
Yes.
I assume, now don't take my word for it, I assume he might call election in the next 2 weeks' time after the 12th. So the amount of videos that you have to show in the different constituencies, I don't think you'll have time to show everything.
Well,
unless if you put twice a week, 2 videos a week.
Well, if they come in with their videos, I cannot deny them. I'll play them, but they have to put themselves out.
Okay, well, now the volume is back. Okay.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's really strange. I'm getting so many messages.
An opinion to say whether it's good or not. Because I would like to see the things that is happening in St. Lucia. And yesterday, you almost make me cry, man, the amount of things I see Henry has. And let me tell you, Labrie ain't got nothing, Labrie is the only one that will not be there.
The Labrie don't have a representative.
It's the same thing. We have got nothing in Labrie. Nothing. So, I have already counted Labrie out because Labrie ain't got nothing. So I would love to see everything like Ansteric, Canaries, Soufrière, everywhere, man. Spring is so nice, so beautiful. Anyway, I don't take too much of your time because I know it's not time for you to work.
Okay, but again, thanks a lot, my friend. All right. Now, St. Lucia, my time has come to an end. My time has come to an end, and I have two of the powerhouses here. They will be on tomorrow evening with Crossfire. Boy, we coming out with a brand new t-shirt tomorrow night, so look out for us on Crossfire. We'll be showing a lot of the rallies. I got the Choiseul rally, Dr. Secret. I got the Choiseul rally, but a few seconds of it. But the one I have is the cul-de-sac rally. I have the Deriso rally. So tomorrow night, we're going to show those rallies on Crossfire. Okay?
Rally.
God willing.
Rally.
You will have on your program, I will be back this afternoon. We at about 7:30. We have Mr. Prudent from the gathering in New York City. They will call into your program to give us an update with what is happening up there in New York City. The Flabo train is in New York City. Ring the Bell should be at that rally tomorrow. That meeting tonight.
Ring the Bell must represent because right now. Ring the Bell is an American.
Ring the Bell is a celebrity, big time celebrity in New York City. So, boy, I'm so happy that I thought you were going to do a program early today. I'm Dr. Secret.
No. So it's Friday.
But Champagne, you should have told me. I would have.
You'd have brought in your uniform and
I would have come and
an early program. It's Friday. But that's all right. I like the popping.
Yeah.
What you heard the recording?
I brought you.
The man brought me lunch, I have lunch here. The man brought me lunch.
Oh my goodness!
You see how much of a family we have.
Let me tell you, that shows that because that's Dr. Secret and I. When you are there and we know you're hungry, we don't normally hold something.
So what you basically saying, I should do the same?
Well, you said it. You said it. and we are waiting our cashew nuts and our Julie mangoes.
I'm leave that there. I'm going to the Mon to collect some Julie mangoes from a lady. She told me do what I want with it. I hope there's enough for me to share.
Leave your card there. Because there might not be place for you to, pack. So we can go together. And we share in the mango under the mango tree, so that's no problem.
Now my phones are lighting up, but St. Lucia, I really have to go. If Dr. Secret was going to take the chair, it would be nice to handle the calls, but I have to leave.
I
have to collect the t-shirts.
It's not a good Friday.
I have to go get the t-shirts for the people. It has been a long time. I got word that the shirts are ready.
Bro, I heard that too. Yes. No, but the reason why I pop in late because I heard the PM and the Minister of Tourism was in the house.
Great news.
Very great news.
Dr. Secret, go ahead.
As the Minister highlighted that the price of materials has gone up and things like that because of COVID. But what the Minister forgot to mention
there's no material.
Is that you cannot get materials.
All the materials.
You cannot get materials.
What's the Labour Party saying that nothing is happening?
Yes.
The warehouses
are empty.
Getting empty.
Yes.
No cement.
Before the cement comes, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
It was just, I think, 2 or 3 days ago, I was looking for cement all over the place.
Yes.
And the only place I got cement was all the way up Lague.
My goodness.
You understand?
Wow.
M&C, well, you name them.
Yes.
There was no cement.
Yes.
So you telling me all the cements that are
coming in.
Yes. Nothing. So they just bind the cement and throw them.
In less than a week, it's
less
empty.
than a week.
Empty.
So that foolishness you see the Labour Party talking about, I want St. Lucians to know, do not allow that to enter your ears. To come into your
It's a great indication of things that are happening in St. Lucia.
They now, cannot give what they don't have. Now, Brother Herod will know that. When you cast out a demon out of someone, it have to look for another place to enter. Now, if the place it's looking for does not want it, it have to be searching all over the place to see where it can enter. Now, I am saying that as an example and as a parable. There are politicians out there that are looking for somewhere for them to enter. Do not allow them to enter. Leave them out.
Our phones are lighting up, Dr. Secret.
Well, not for me because I have to leave.
All right, St. Lucia, so I have to leave myself, but in a few hours, the man, Dr. Secret and Herod and Coach, is Coach coming in today?
Coach Bun.
Coach Bun out?
Yeah. Dr. Secret
Bun out, Coach?
Yeah, the man Bun out.
But I'm going to pop in this evening on your program, Mr. Secret, because we have that thing happening in New York City, and we have to get, I think we'll be getting a call from the people up there. Either ring the bell or Mr. Prudent or some people from the at about 7:30 this evening.
And if Sean Overton want to come in, he can pop in as well. And a lot of people asking me, boy, you had a beautiful, in fact, telling me you had a beautiful lady on the show last night.
Well,
when is she coming back?
For you
now,
alone.
if she come back, she's going to talk about Denry.
For you alone, every lady is beautiful, which is good. Because beautiful is not on face, beautiful is all around.
It's character.
Yes, right.
Yeah, a lot of people want beautiful.
Thank you very much. Dr. Secret will be back.
And the traffic is very heavy up north coming from the Shock Bridge all the way up to Monjiro. So if anybody heading up north and you want to avoid the traffic,
pass through Grand Riviere,
Jessica, and then find yourself at Kilago.
I just tell you the route, I mean, you can pass through Kilago and pass through Bonte and Grosile. You don't get traffic if you don't want in Grosile,
So thank you very much. Senator, thank you once again for being with me this morning, and we were really happy that our Prime Minister made an impromptu visit along with the Minister of Tourism, and the great news that came out of that, we will be seeing in our harbor on Tuesday at about maybe 8 o'clock or maybe before that we will be having a cruise ship. We have not seen one we have seen some there because they brought in some of the our workers back home, but then for cruise ship to be in port on Tuesday, as with cruise ship passengers, we will be happy to see that. I think I will take my position very early on Tuesday, God willing, just to see that and to report back to you here on Tuesday. Until this afternoon, I'm going to make an impromptu visit or a surprise visit to the guys. Well, it's not a surprise anymore because I've already said it. So I'm going to be making a visit this afternoon with Dr. Secret, where we will be going into a few of our beautiful people over there in New York City, where they are having a Flabo gathering, and they asked all of the members up there to join, to dress up in their Flabo colors. That is this afternoon. They start at about 6 o'clock, 6:30 to be exact. And it's happening. Let me give you the information for those of you who are up there in the tri-state area. So you could, if you want to go down there, Flabo people, you want to go down there and respond to that happening up there. Let me just try to find it. And I am looking for it there. Okay, there it is. Okay, it says, wait a minute. All right, so it says Flabo Rama Night in New York City, hosted by Terrell Prudent, that's Mr. Prudent. And it says the New York City chapter of Proud Flabo aboard cordially invites you, all supporters of the United Workers Party in the tri-state area, to a meeting and social gathering, music, discussions, fun. Phone calls will be made from most of the candidates in St. Lucia, and it's all happening tonight at 6:30 p.m. onwards at Tropics Bar and Grill, 422 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11213, between Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard. Let me read this again. I think I got a little tight tongue by just saying it. It says Flabo Rama Night in New York, hosted by Terrell Prudent, the New York chapter of Proud Flabo aboard cordially invites all supporters of the United Workers' Party in the tri-state area to a meeting and social gathering. It says here, music, discussions, fun, and phone calls from some of the candidates, and that is happening this evening from at about 6:30 onwards, and it's happening in a Tropics Bar and Grill, 422 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, zip 11213, between Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard. And you in the tri-state area, those of you in Queens, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, you want to go down there, it's at the Tropics Bar and Grill, 422 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, between Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard. And you could give us a call this evening as soon as we get the phone lines open for that period. Call us here. You will be speaking to the man Champagne, Brother Herod, and Dr. Secret, and who else is going to be here. So we're looking forward to hearing you this evening right here on Sky FM. You have a great afternoon, St. Lucia. Until later this evening, I want to say to you, enjoy your lunch, and we will see you a little later.
We shall set this thing back to the foundation of UWP.